Hello? We're here
We are here.
in a new format, venturing out into a world of potential technical difficulties. So let us know, please, if the sound is okay. Let us know if we're live in all of the appropriate places, which would be Aaron Bees' channel and my channel, Say Hello to DC. And I know that y'all will be very gracious with potential technical difficulties because this is the first time that we're streaming an eCam to 2 creator accounts, so I'm excited to be here. So thanks for having me, Aaron.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you for being the techie person and setting all of this stuff up, and I appreciate you so much.
Awesome. Well, we've been trying. Here's the cool part about mobile stream, and I know like some people hate it, some people love it. The potential to find people who don't know about what's going on in multi-level marketing is greater right now with this tool that we have. And so sprinkling it in on some of the channels, I've had so many times, I've had several, the past 3 streams on mobile streams for me have gotten a lot of reach, but not just to people who knew about multi-level marketing, but there's people who are like, what is MLM? And I didn't know this was a scam. So that's exciting to me. And I hope that as we're looking at this, that like take this with like a tool to reach more people, and I'm excited to be here with Aaron because the content tonight is gonna be wild. So I'm gonna pass the mic back over to Aaron because
I feel like we should tell the story
yes. Okay.
of getting this live.
Okay.
So I was at the gym yesterday, and I get this message from one of my Instagram followers. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for letting us know. Also, if you have not licked both streams, that would be amazing if you would do that. And if you're brand new to our channels, that just means give us the thumbs up. So I'm at the gym yesterday, and I get this message, and it's like, oh my God, you have to see this video that Courtney is doing right now. She's saying horrendous things. And I was like, oh God, what about? And I think the thumbnail kind of gives away some of that. And in the video, she says, I'm going to delete this right after. And I'm frantic trying to figure out how we can get this live because of the things that she's saying. Maybe not frantic, that's a little exaggerated, but I was like, we got to get this video. And so I messaged Charlene, and I messaged Lushy, and I text DeeCee. I was like, we have to get this video. And so DeeCee was able to get it, which is incredible because as soon as Courtney was done live, and she's being interviewed on a podcast, as soon as she was done with the live, she immediately deleted it.
Like so fast. So fast.
So fast. Yeah.
So if y'all don't know, I am the worst texter of all time. So the stars aligned. I had my phone in my hand and I see a message pop up. Like, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was frantic and it was like, Courtney's live. She's going to delete it. Can you get it? And so I scurry over to my computer and I'm like, oh my God, what if she's only live on Facebook? She hadn't finished it yet. So I put all the details in to like try to auto download it. So I just had it ready to like press enter literally once she pressed stop. And then I go to my iPad and plot twist, it's dead. My iPad will do some auto downloading for problematic people. And so I power walk upstairs as fast as I can go, plug it in, it turns on immediately, and I go to the program and I refresh it and it says capturing live. And I'm like, did it capture everything? Is it only capturing now? Only time will tell. So I'm texting Aaron or voice, listening to voice messages back and forth. And I'm like literally like this on the button on Facebook, download. Courtney Shortney was not playing. She deleted it faster than I've ever seen her delete anything before. So we have it.
Yeah, wild times.
Yeah.
We have it. Courtney's probably not going to be happy. Also, hi, Victoria. Hello, friend. And it's pretty atrocious. So I think this is a good place to kind of give some content warnings. So, she is talking a lot about Jesse Lee. She does mention, which is why I put in the thumbnail what I did, and I can't remember exactly how she words it, but basically that Jesse Lee passing away was a good thing. And she says it some way, maybe not those exact words, but which I think is atrocious. Yeah. I know we've previewed this, but I can't remember what else. I just think that part is important, the relationship aspect of that, I don't know. Do you have anything else that you want to add as far as content warnings?
The relational part of it, the twistiness, the lack of boundaries. It might make you feel a certain way if you've ever been in a relationship where someone didn't acknowledge or respect your boundaries, and it's just interesting to listen to. It's interesting to listen to from the perspective of this behavior is, in my opinion, kind of leaning towards really unhealthy, and using that also to pull people in more to multi-level marketing is really it gets twisty really fast. I also want to say one thing. Courtney may or may not be neurodivergent, which may make some of the things that she says strange to neurotypical people. We don't know if she actually is or not, but just have that multifaceted approach as we review this, that there might be some things that she says because of how her brain is, which is fine. Like I have autism. Some of my good friends have ADHD. I just want us to be not the mob, and that's never the way on Aaron's channel either, but we're looking at behavior, we're looking at kind of the psychology behind stuff, and we're going to debunk a bunch of stuff that she says on this live. And that's part of the information control we fight against so much in multi-level marketing, because lying or misrepresenting something to create a reality that makes something more enticing is a wrong way to recruit people, and it's dishonest, it's disingenuous. And so that's all. My long-winded trigger warning and caveat to what we're going to be looking at today.
And if you're wondering why I was making such strong facial expressions, is because there are so many lies in this video. And are we going to talk about it? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
Yep. And if you're new to this stream, we're exposing MLM scammers. That's what both of us do. I need to let Erin do her iconic intro, but yeah, there's a couple of rules on both of our channels. We don't disparage people. We don't diagnose them. We don't do ad hominem. We are spicy yet respectful, and the mods will be bringing the hammers of Thor if necessary. It's just protecting the chat. We are, kind of assertive and stuff like that. So I'm going to pass it back over to Erin.
If you happen to be new to my channel, welcome. My name is Erin Bees. I am a wife, a mom, a military veteran. I am studying to be a certified personal trainer, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out, and now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing companies and the tactics used by their reps.
I love that. It's the iconic intro of the MLM movement. I wish mine was that good. I'm DeeCee. I'm an MLM dropout, and I've been battling technical difficulties in multi-level marketing companies since 2022. And we're going to all hope for the best that this stream it's already starting off on a good foot, because we're doing this in a new program. So hope for the best. Yep. So
how do you not think your intro is iconic? Because I think it is.
Oh, I don't know. I think I just the reason I got out of Young Living as fast as I did is because of Erin. And so I remember when you first got that intro and that rhythm of this is who I am and this is what I'm about. And I'm like, Oh my God. Yes, that's such a good, I think it's just like, it feels nostalgic and it's like, I don't know. I just like yours. I like yours so much. And she
Thank
is
you.
the
I appreciate
queen.
it.
She is the queen of the shoulder smolder. So we should be able to see memberships come in for Aaron. And if so, I will pull them up.
Thank you.
We're trying to pull up all the comments on the screen as we see them. I can see all of the chat from Aaron and my stream. And Aaron also has the back end view for her own chat, so she can also comment as well. So
correct. Thank you.
This is also
this
good.
is new territory.
Yes, very new territory. The book Unmasking Autism covers exactly how the MLM model exploits us. I would love to read that.
Oh.
Stephen Hassan's talked about similar things, but I know neurodivergent people, there's a belief that they're more susceptible to deciding to join an MLM. So, yeah. All right, let's go. We have our other scene. Ta-da!
Oh man, brace yourselves, y'all. This is a wild ride filled of word salad, lies, in my opinion, and things that just don't make any sense.
Yes. And I guess a quick snark note, a quick recap. Who's Courtney Shortney and how do you know her?
Courtney Shortney is the best friend of Jesse Lee Ward, who unfortunately passed away in September of last year from stage 4 colon cancer. Courtney was on her team, and it was also the team that I was a part of. I was also direct to Jesse Lee Ward. I'm telling you guys this just for context. And what we have seen, just kind of giving a quick snippet of what we've seen from Courtney Shortney, I'm going to start this off with saying, I wish that she would get help with her grief. I mean, your best friend has passed away, and that I can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
And then you have kind of, I'm going to use DeeCee's terminology here, but you have this kind of twisty relationship. And then you have the MLM tactics and manipulations. And, I can't imagine how hard that would be to unravel all of that. We've seen some really, in my opinion, disgusting behavior from Courtney, talking about Jesse Lee's passing, things that she's done behind the scenes, the hiding of the dogs, amongst many other things that will probably come up during this live later.
Yeah. And
so that's who she is.
Yeah. Aaron was on Jesse Lee's team, and you also, if you want to know all of the backstory, we're talking about Courtney. Jesse Lee's a part of this because Courtney brings it up so much. So if you have questions of the kind of those natural occurring questions of like, well, what all happened, you can find that on Aaron's channel. Aaron has personal experience and knows the people that we're talking about and is going to debunk the lies and the misrepresenting of the information that that you're going to hear. I have taken out the pauses. I have attempted to balance the audio. Yes. So, let us know if I need to raise or lower Courtney, and we'll do our best. So, here we go. If I can find, sorry, technical difficulty already. Here we go. Oh, we can't hear. Hold on. Sorry. I fixed it. I'm going to rewind it. I'm sorry. There we go.
We are testing this out. This is a brand new way of streaming.
This is the short
so
version.
Bear with us.
Oh, this is what's yesterday. Hold on.
All right.
That's the long one. What happened to the
So Elizabeth while you're doing this, DeeCee,
yes.
Elizabeth has a good comment. She says, grief counseling saved me when my dad was dying. The stress and shock will make you feel so overwhelmed. Thank you for sharing that with us, Elizabeth. And I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your dad.
And that's how we're going to try to pull up the comments because I'm controlling them. So if Aaron sees something that I will do I can, because I can search comments so I can find it immediately. So we are going to do that this way. I am, is this?
All right.
Here we go. 118. I accidentally had the short clip in
All
there.
right.
All right. There we go. We took out.
Thanks for being patient, guys.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
We do. We did take out, originally it was 1 hour, 35 minutes. It's down to 1 hour and 18 minutes with all the pauses removed. And some of the filler words, we didn't speed it up because Courtney talks, in my opinion, fast. But if we need to speed it up, we can in Chrome. So here we go.
How many pauses? Tell them how many pauses you removed.
If you love numbers, there was 444 pauses that were removed in this. So wild. Yep. And then factor in that Courtney and others have bought fully into Jesse Lee's narrative that she had beat cancer, which makes her death even more traumatizing.
Agreed.
Yep. All right,
also, hi, Melissa.
Oh. There's a lot of friends in the chat. I'm seeing that maybe total viewers is 536 right now. So bear with us, and hello if you're new, and hello if you're not. And we're gonna get past the technical difficulties right now.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to have Courtney Shepard, also known as Courtney Shortney, here with us in the V Spot today. Courtney is a compassionate coach, an entrepreneur, and a team leader who helps hardworking moms build 6- and 7-figure businesses from their phones with focus. That piece is important to add.
Okay. I'm sure Courtney probably wrote this herself, but Aaron, what's your question?
My question is, Courtney, who in your downline is making 7 figures? Because I know you're not.
Yep. But wouldn't you, if you heard that and you had no idea about multi-level marketing and you're like, wow, she helps develop 6- and 7-figure earners, you might give her a chance. But she has no track record of that. And that's important to say. Be honest about your resume, in my opinion. That's part
and that's
of
not saying, sorry, that's not saying her and her team haven't sold 1 million. I'm talking about, what are you bringing home minus your expenses? Because I know she's spending a lot.
Yep. I mean, we even heard on your stream the other day, Marina Simone is in a different multi-level marketing company, but allegedly spent $300,000 on Facebook ads. Allegedly.
First of all, if we're gonna talk about Marina Simone, how are you going to be a social media coach with a 0.19% engagement rate?
Yikes.
That's all I have for now. I'm going to save the rest for another video.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Courtney, welcome to the V Spot.
Thank you for having me, Joy. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. We've known each other for, I'm sure, I don't know if we'll get into that, but it's just really cool to actually connect and collaborate on something, on a project. And I can't wait to dive in with you today.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit to give folks some context in a little while, but we have been talking for a while about you joining me here.
Yeah.
We're excited that we were able to make it happen. And so everyone who is listening, I met Courtney in Central Park in 2022. I want to say it was May or June.
June 13th, it was my birthday.
Oh, it was your birthday. June 13th.
Remember what's his name sang at the end of it? It was Jordan. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was, I want folks to sort of get a visual of the scene. It was a very warm day in Central Park. We were melting, basically, right? Super sticky. And Courtney was there with Jesse Lee, who is her best friend. And Jesse Lee was hosting a pop-up event. And so we meet in the middle of Central Park, and spend a couple of hours hearing from Jesse Lee. And she poured into all of us pertaining to coaching. And, it was like a real mastermind in the middle of Central Park. But Courtney, I want to begin by giving you your flowers for that particular day.
Because yes, absolutely.
I'm feeling much better. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Today was my last day of antibiotics. Yay for modern medicine. Love that. And also, yeah, thank you. Thank you, mods. So this was a mastermind that they did in Central Park, and there was just a handful of people there. Jesse Lee charged people tickets to meet up in a public location.
I cannot. I cannot.
And now it's being called a mastermind. Okay.
I mean, it's more like a play date that you had to pay for. I mean, it's like we're going to the park and it's not a park you own and you didn't pay for a permit to gather there. And okay. It's okay. Okay.
They're paying for a social media picture.
Yeah. Yep. Which is wild.
Ridiculous.
It is. It is.
One of the things that I remember very clearly was how well you executed that particular event. You were on top of all of the details. And many of us talked about that. People who didn't know each other, left that day, not only really poured into by Jesse Lee, but poured into by you because of how you handled all of it, the time, the photos, the support, really bringing us together to make it happen. So it was evident when I left that day that you weren't just a best friend, right? You were an anchor for Jesse Lee.
Oh, thank you.
Or an assistant.
Or an assistant that's working for free. It's interesting to note the person who's leading the podcast is a psychiatrist for a long period of time. And her podcast, the V spot, it's for vulnerability. Which that wasn't the first word I thought of, but Brandy Lee. But okay.
Is or was Courtney working for free, or was she working for Jesse Lee to build her downline?
Good point.
Also, Courtney, and I know you're going to see this. How many people did you recruit in January and February in order to rank up to rank 10? And also, why has your team volume and your group volume historically been unbalanced?
Yep. If y'all don't know, Courtney hit rank 10, which is right underneath the top rank of the company, which is legend. Rank 10 is really hard to hit. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the top rank in the company is legend, and then rank 10 is below it.
Just for context, Jesse Lee was recruiting a lot of people, and it took her a long time to hit rank 10. I'm guessing Jesse Lee never had a month where she recruited 0 people. And Courtney recruited 0 people in January and 0 people in February. So how then do we get to the math equation where the result equals Courtney hitting rank 10? We just have questions.
They're all being moved. Sydney, who was a rank 6, I don't know if she hit rank 7, was placed under Bree. Bree, I don't know what rank she is, rank 8 or something like that. Who else was moved? And how do we know that move happened? Because Sydney, Bree, and Courtney all talked about it. I do also know that other people are being moved in the organization because it's being talked about. And this is my prediction. I do predictions on my channel sometimes.
I love it.
Especially when it comes to prove it in the Empire. This is my prediction. And if you're a member and you're watching on my channel, you can drop the prediction emote in there. So this is what I think is happening. I think Brian Underwood, the CEO of Prove It, is taking everybody that was frontline, meaning personally recruited by Jesse Lee, and he's moving them under different leaders. I think he's going to take the customer revenue from Jesse Lee's position, and he's going to keep that as a corporate leg or put it under his alleged own leg that I've been told he has. Am I stating that as a fact? No. So he's either going to take that money from all the customers that Jesse Lee had, or he's going to keep it as revenue because Prove It, I feel like, needs that revenue right now because I think they're hurting financially.
Yep.
So those are that's my prediction. We'll see what happens. But you also have to think about in Prove It, in their comp plan, at least when I was a part of it, you have to have, there's requirements for team volume and there's requirements for group volume. So team volume is you plus your first 3 downlines, and then group volume is everybody on your team. And you have to meet the requirements for team volume and group volume. Also, Monica, I love that you're asking this. MLM stands for multi-level marketing. The company that I'm talking about right now is called Prove It, and they sell ketones that you don't need, in my opinion.
Yep.
Anyways, you have to meet those requirements in order to rank advance. So you have these people that are being moved around, and they're more than likely, in my opinion, being moved into people's team volume requirements, their first 3 levels, which is going to cause these rank advancements. How do I know that? Because I'm pretty sure Bree is direct to Courtney, and Sydney, who used to be direct to Jesse Lee, was moved directly under Bree. So that would qualify, I believe, as being within Courtney's team volume requirement. So I know that was kind of confusing, probably, how I mentioned that, but also, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
welcome.
We got some members.
Lisa, welcome. Who else did I miss?
Let me see. Lisa DeeCee just became a member. That's awesome. Do we need a shoulder smolder for you?
So much. Yeah. Can you play it?
Yes, I can play it because I do have it. That's
amazing.
Wait, let me just avoid the kazoo one. Hold on.
Yeah, Brandy will write in the
wrong
comments
one.
if you do the kazoo one.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I wasn't sure. I have 2 in here. I have one non-adulterated one. I'm just joking because, like, I have kazoo everything on my channel, so I have one in here for regular and one that's a kazoo, Careless Whisper. So
I love that. Did you already play it?
Oh, did it not play? Dadgummit.
I couldn't hear it.
Oh, I know how to do it. Let me do it one more time. Because I have to add the sound in. Jessica knows I do this all the time. Here we go. We're going to put this behind and we're going to drag it down. There we go. Ready, set, go.
Now through the windshield wipers.
I know. Oh, I get to do it again because Danny just became a member as well. So who do this?
Oh my god.
Yes, let's go. Thank you so much. All right.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that so much. And thanks for playing that, DeeCee.
Awesome. Yep. All right. Let's
also,
go.
Fancy Beast has an interesting comment.
Okay.
Fancy Beast says, I can hear BU now. Y'all want to rank up and disrupt the conversation? 100%. That sounds like him.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, if you're just joining us, we are going to periodically explain kind of basic things that some of our regular users know, because it looks like we are having higher amounts of people kind of scrolling through in the chat. I'm looking at like about 600 people viewing the stream. We're talking about Prove It, rep and Prove It, using information control to distort things to try to recruit people into her MLM and also twist her experience that she had with someone who is no longer with us, who is a top earner. So we do that on both of our channels. We try to take down multi-level marketing. So, all right.
And to answer your question, Honor, yes. My downline when I resigned from Prove It rolled up to Jesse Lee directly. Yes.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Appreciate that and really want to
gotta drink those ketones.
It's not easy to manage, dozens and dozens of people in an open area, to turn it out so that the vision is executed. So I just wanted to, give you some flowers for.
That was also my first time ever in New York. that entire trip. Never been to Central Park. We got to walk through and experience that as well. And, I think thank you so much for that. I think it really is something that I tap into naturally, but it's a skill that anyone can, if they choose to, right? You can always acquire skills and develop them into being and looking exactly how you want them to. So I appreciate that. I've worked really hard on being able to accomplish that. So it means a lot that you noticed.
Yeah, well, what I love is that you working very hard at it didn't show in the moment. What showed is that it was a natural gift, right? And you were really on top of being steps ahead. And I think when it comes to leadership,
because Lazy Little Leopard has 13 months with Aaron. What? That is a chunk of time. That's awesome. What do you normally play for membership reminders or membership
I haven't really been playing anything for that, actually.
Okay.
Can I point something out real quick though? Because this podcast host just complimented her a few minutes ago about having everything together when it came to this event. And then she just now said, it wasn't apparent at the time. And I'm like, well, what? What? Did you catch that too? Is it just me?
No, there's definitely some double speak going on. You have to, I'm glad we're getting to pause it a lot because it's definitely, there's things that we're catching that are really strange once you slow it down and go, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yep, definitely.
We're going to talk about leadership, and actually we're going to be focusing on leadership while grieving, right? Because it's a very complex entity. It's one thing to have the skill set to cultivate it, but it's also another thing to deliver it in such a way where people can look and be like, wow, she was born to do this. It happens.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to spotlight, to everybody listening too. Oftentimes the work that you do behind the scenes, is what really prepares you to show up and deliver in a way where it's like, wow, so.
Especially when you feel like it goes unnoticed, there will be times when, just like right now, like you acknowledging that means a lot. Thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. We had a great time in New York City. A bunch of us talk about it still and, collaborate over the fact that that was a special day because it was executed in such a high performance way. Yet it was in the park and you wouldn't think that it would be delivered in such a way. Walking away. So that was super powerful.
I love that.
Just a little bit of background for folks, too, that may be tuning in, that maybe are not familiar. Many people who do tune into the V-Spot have heard about Jesse Lee before. She was one of my first business coaches, and she's Courtney's best friend. And we lost her in September of 2023. And so, the world is a very different place, right? I speak of this often with so many different people that I meet that I didn't necessarily meet at the time when in Jesse Lee's coaching container. I've met in different capacities, and all roads always come back to some level of connection, but how things just don't make sense, right? Social media feels like a different place since she's gone. It's like the quiet is deafening in a sense, right? It's a different world, and I know that it's a day-to-day process. And
you can see, because we have it zoomed in more, it's different than watching on Facebook. She's tearing up. However twisted the friendship was formed, Courtney misses Jesse Lee. And I think that you can have big feelings and intense and deep feelings about losing someone that you loved who is a friend. And then there's also a time to learn how to help your kids mourn and grieve, and you mourn and grieve in a healthy way, because we're going to see this very, I don't know, it's like a downturn of what the hell's going on when she starts to talk the rest of the podcast. But we've also heard on other lives where Courtney's saying that Jesse Lee's speaking through her daughter, who is under the age of 10, so quite young, Jesse Lee was her godparent, and I don't know how to grasp the concept of thinking about your impressionable child. You're still learning how the world works and your place in the world, and then your mom is telling you that Jesse Lee is basically in you and speaking through you. What do you think, Aaron? Do you think that is do you think that would be difficult for a child to manage and that not impact
Yeah.
their I don't know how their view of the world and their view of themselves? That I don't know. It's just
I think grief is hard for an adult. And I think I can't imagine what grief in a younger child, any child in general, that their brain isn't fully developed to understand certain things about their world. I can't imagine what that would feel like. And for me, hearing that she was saying that Jesse Lee was speaking through her child, that seems like a heavy load to burden your kid with.
Yeah. Very heavy. Very heavy.
Yeah.
Grieving, finding meaning in a new world is quite layered. But I'm going to get back to all of that in a couple of minutes. What I really wanted to begin with as a question for you is, why do you think that Jesse Lee picked you to be her best friend?
Well, I know that she would definitely want me to say, and I think that you would agree with this. It wasn't just that she picked me. It was also that I chose her.
I know we just paused this. If you haven't been here for the multi-level marketing saga of the series of events, Aaron knows Courtney and knew Jesse Lee and was one of the original 14 that went?
Yeah, not 8.
So maybe you can give some personal insight on this, but we've also heard Courtney talk about her intensity of pursuit of Jesse Lee.
Yeah. So Courtney was in Pure Romance. Jesse Lee was in Pure Romance. I was in Pure Romance as well. And in fact, just because I know that there's a lot of new people that are watching, just to give a quick rundown of the companies that I was a part of, I started with Slumber Parties. Slumber Parties was bought out by Pure Romance. I resigned from Pure Romance. I joined Arbonne for a very short period of time. Then I joined Love Winks, and then Modere, and then finally Prove It. So over 13 and a half years, I was a part of 6 companies, just as information for anybody that's new or has not heard me mention the companies. Anyways, Jesse Lee was a part of Pure Romance. She was fired from Pure Romance. And Courtney, I believe, was told to not follow Jesse Lee because she was fired, and who knows the reasons that Pure Romance was giving. I'm sure it was ridiculous. But anyways, so Courtney was like, well, wait a second. I'm going to go ahead and check this out anyways. And so she started following her, and she has described how she went about seeking Jesse Lee out. She uses the word stalking.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to hear this podcast host say, well, how did Jesse Lee pick you to be her best friend? And it's like, well, she didn't. Courtney pushed her way in there, essentially. That's what it feels like, and feels like the best way to describe that. And Courtney has this very interesting, competitive, I know her better than anybody, and everybody else is like, all right. It's weird. You know, I don't even know how I can explain that, but that's what it feels like to me. It feels like she is constantly competing, you know, as the end all be all with all things Jesse Lee. And I don't know. It seems odd to me.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to hear more details about this here. And if you've missed other Prove It related streams about where a top performer like Courtney is highlighted for behavior, you can find them on Aaron's channel. You can find them on other MLM or anti-MLM channels
on your channel
and my channel too. But it's not just us on the internet trying to take down MLMs. It's there's a whole group of people, and there's also people doing stuff like this in real life, in person. And even as I say, small as you are learning about the dangers of MLM and the dangers of high control groups, the dangers of commercial cults, and you can share that maybe with someone you know, or even an acquaintance at work or something like that when the conversation comes up. So it's a great. There's lots of people doing really good things, and it's not just on YouTube or whatever. But for those who are scrolling through our streams, we are unpacking the multi-level marketing company. Specifically, the company this person's a part of is Prove It, and we're talking about the company. We're debunking the misinformation that's shared. Aaron is an expert. I say expert on the comp plan. Aaron was a top performer on Jesse Lee's team, a car earner, and close, like, inner circle, and is able to say, like, that did not happen. Or at least can guide us to questions that maybe Courtney is not sharing. So here we go.
Indeed. And I will.
Let's go.
And I think that's super, super important, that relationships are always a two-way street sometimes, and often we have to kind of initiate ourselves. We were just talking about this, initiate ourselves into the process that you do sometimes have to go through, giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, where you're choosing someone and they're not always choosing you back in the same way. And that requires a lot of communication, which kind of gets me into how we chose each other. Like, I wasn't going anywhere. I was, sometimes you hear like the squeaky wheel gets whatever is the one that's heard. And sometimes people are like, I feel like that's kind of like a whiny thing. But for me, I felt called to be around her, and so I showed up. And when I first found her and felt connected to her.
Okay, again, here's where I think we're going to be careful. I think Courtney has shared that she's neurodivergent, so there may be some phrases that she says that maybe come across the wrong way, but setting that aside and giving room for like different meanings. If somebody had said that about anybody, that's a strange verbiage to say. You're called to a specific person and you keep pursuing them. You move to the same state. You do whatever you can to get as close to them as possible. It does fit the word that Courtney used for herself. Courtney said she stalked Jesse Lee. I don't think that she meant it in the criminal way, but the way that she describes it doesn't recognize boundaries, doesn't recognize maybe the relationship isn't a good fit. There's not healthy, it doesn't seem like there's healthy interpersonal things going on. So it's shocking to me to hear that, but I sometimes take things literally. So I don't know what your thoughts are, Aaron.
I don't think people I didn't seek Julie Joe out to be my best friend. Like, this person is going to be my best friend. It just kind of happened. Yeah. And I could say the same about any friends. DeeCee and I have become friends, and it just kind of happened over time. I don't think you seek people out unless you're looking to gain something personally from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that makes me uncomfortable,
Yep, I agree. And MK said, is there a good kind of stalking? That's definitely a question that we're wondering ourselves. That it is strange. I recall her telling Jesse Lee Ward she loved her on Alive, and Jesse Lee Ward was moving on without acknowledging it. So it was really one-sided, it seems. And it could have been. Mm-hmm. It could have been. And also, in the event it was more one-sided, which it seems like it was, Courtney still really misses Jesse Lee. And you can see, in my opinion, some of the emotion. I mean, we've seen the emotion and the grief that she's been processing through. One of the issues in my opinion is using your best friend's memory to recruit into your multi-level marketing company seems slimy and twisty. That's the nice G-rated way I can say that. Because it also enrages me because it seems so disrespectful of someone who's no longer here. I could say the same about Eric Worre and what he did, or Ed Milet and what he did. Go check out Savannah Marie for those situations. But like having your best friends and your relationship be your whole identity, and then using that for MLM and pulling more people into your high control group, it misses the mark. It's awful. It's awful.
I was one of those people when I tell the story, because she would always be like, you tell the story. I'm like, yeah, because you didn't know who I was when I knew you. Of course I should start the story. She's like, I like when you tell it. I'm like, because I was the one who like knew who she was, right? And we laugh about it. I mean, I like to try to transition the story over to her, but I found her in 2014 in our first company. And it was all belly to belly, and I found her through a Facebook group. And so her first company had just been acquired, and I had just been like finally having belief in myself to start in this profession, because I saw someone else. For a long time, I kept seeing people that I was like, I can't do it like they do it. And then all of a sudden I saw some person that was like, if she can do it, I can do it, because we're so different. Like I kept looking at people where I felt like it was, and I'll just be straight, I didn't know this at the time, but it was a reflection of what I saw myself as wanting to show up as, and I didn't feel like I was quite there. So it was this reflection, right? And then until there was this opportunity where I saw someone who was growing in the space, who was showing up as the beginning phases of it and being successful at it, I was like, okay, well then maybe I should start too and give it a try. And if I wouldn't have said yes to an opportunity like Dre and I were talking about in the beginning.
Hold on. Courtney, do you hear yourself? To me, this sounds like she was looking for a personality online to try on.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense now, I guess, looking back, because her mannerisms over the last however many years have become more and more like Jesse Lee. The mouth sounds and just different things like that. So it's interesting.
Yeah. It is very strange too. And it seems, if I'm putting myself in the shoes of somebody who would be pursued like that, it would feel very like exposing and unnerving to listen to someone say, I watched you for a long period of time and I knew that we were going to be friends, and the undertone was we were going to be friends no matter what. That sounds not my cup of tea at all.
It sounds like there was a hidden agenda. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yep. And how can things really like play out naturally if one person is like, I'm going to be your friend no matter what, so I can't maybe have my own reactions to things because I'm going to do whatever would be best received by the person that I'm trying to be friends with. It's like, well, that would get exhausting, but also that is disingenuous, and it's like, you could just be yourself. Now, I say this again. It's difficult making friends. For me, it is very. I'm a little bit quirky. I understand. There's just some things. There's some good things too, but it's like I understand how it can be difficult and how sometimes it is tempting to like not be yourself, to try to make connections with people. But there are people out there who will like you for yourself. And I definitely know it's not in an MLM, and it's not pre-planning your unification with a best friend who doesn't know they're going to be your best friend. I feel
that's
twisty.
icky.
It's icky. Yeah. Yes, for sure. Oh my God.
Before we started recording, she said yes to starting her own business when it was just really scary and there's a lot of unknowns, and she had no idea like how many things she would have to evolve and show up as. Like, you don't have cheerleaders, all these things, right? And I was constantly pulled and drawn to Jesse Lee's energy, and I thought everyone feels that way. And I remember whenever she went into her first new company, and like, people talked and they said things in a negative way, and my outlook, my perspective was, there's always 3 sides to every story.
Yeah, totally.
So I want to get to know hers. And so I followed silently, and I really got to know her. And I think this is such a huge importance of like just how I show up on social media and how I've always been, is that I got to see her as this influencer before influencers were a thing, and get to know her and follow her by her.
Wait, 2015. We're like 10 plus years into influencers being a thing. Blogs were like I feel like blogs were the first online iteration of like people getting a following, or even authors probably are close to that level. It's like not as big as celebrities, but like bloggers started in the online space, and then you had the video come in. YouTube started in 2004, I think. So like, the information doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense, in my opinion.
Can I get a fact check on aisle 5, please? Thank you.
Can we get a fact check on aisle 5? Can we get a fact check on aisle 5? Thank you. There is a MLM rep running amok. Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
I know, and Jessica had a blog in 2002, so, I mean, it's so... Maybe she might even be 20 years late to this influencer thing. I mean, Tom from MySpace, probably one of the earlier influencers, and MySpace was around very early on. The guy who created MySpace, and like everyone, and he had a whole branding marketing thing that happened naturally. So,
yeah. Remember, everybody wanted to be friends with him?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, the info ain't infoing. Yes, correct. Here we go.
Indeed.
Her posting online, like I was stalking her, and then I got to know her as a person. And so I have this really unique perspective that I started off as someone who was following a person online, and then I built not only a friendship, but into we became family and best friends, and so much more to that. Just a much deeper connection through the process. And so I have this unique perspective of what it is like to show up online and to show people who you are. And I think that plays a huge role into the grief process that I've kind of unwillingly, stepped into, and inherited this space now, is that I just understand why people feel how they feel, and the connection that they have to her, and the love and the grief that we all have. Like, you got to meet her and hug her and love her in person, but even without that, you would have still experienced grieving her. And
this is just an interesting little trivia tidbit from Becca. PBS has a whole thing about the possible first influencer, Julia Allison. Cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Live chat is the best. So
seriously,
I love all the comments that are coming in. And Replay Crew, much non-culty love to you. Thanks for let us know what you think of this. Let us know what your thoughts are about, maybe leaving your own high control group of a multi-level marketing company, and what your experience has been. It is twisty figuring out life after you leave an MLM, and we are looking at, I guess, one of the side effects or one of the consequences of the twistiness and the interconnectedness, and not necessarily dealing with grief in a healthy way. And that doesn't mean like not feeling your feelings, and that doesn't mean like you ever stop feeling deeply about the people that you've lost. It's like, talk to a licensed clinician. So
yes, please.
Yeah.
the deafening silence that we all experience on social media without her, because of how deeply she loved and the way that she was able to just give so much of herself online and in person in those small situations. And I think we just matched each other's energy. So back to your original question, like why did Jesse Lee choose me? Why do I think that she chose me? It was a really long process before we even realized that we did.
What?
And
no, it's because you did whatever Jesse Lee wanted you to do. Oh, I have to clean her water filter? Let me go over and clean her water filter.
Yep. And again, if you're new to this whole interaction, you've missed a lot. It's not impossible to catch up on, but like the way that, in my opinion, from what I saw on social, and I mean, Aaron knew Jesse Lee, and Jesse Lee would stay at Aaron's house. Like, we're not just talking about something that we're just looking at from a social media aspect, but for me, watching the stories and the posts and the look how much proximity I have to Jesse Lee, and cleaning and taking care of the dogs and just doing every single thing that seemed like an unbalanced power. It seemed to lean in favor of Jesse Lee, and Courtney seemed to do whatever Jesse Lee wanted so that she could, at first, in my opinion, pretend to be close friends, and then it seemed like wore Jesse Lee down to be her best friend. That might be unfair.
I think Jesse Lee only kept people around that could do something for her.
Mm.
And Courtney would do whatever Jesse Lee needed, in my opinion. And I could say that about so many relationships, including the relationship that I had with Jesse Lee as well. I could say that about so many relationships that were around her. I don't think she kept people around unless they could do something for her or she could learn something from them. It was very imbalanced.
Yeah. And look for that own imbalance in your own life. Like, it's not just us, let's dump on Courtney. No, we're looking at these so that if you run into it, you can see if you're still stuck in an MLM. I remember watching anti-MLM content probably 10 months before I decided to get out. Then I remember the first day I had enough courage to start chatting in the live chat. Then I joined Aaron's Discord, and they were the ones that really helped me get out of my MLM because it was terrifying. But we're looking at this kind of toxic relationship that has played out on social media, but the imbalance of power, using Courtney for what she could do. If you're a part of something like that, you deserve better. If you're the one that's working 6 hours plus for your upline, just because you're a loyal person and you're trying to, do whatever you can to be successful, it's an imbalance of power, and you shouldn't have to do that. But we're trying to tell you, like, there's better stuff out there for you. There's a lot better stuff out there.
That's amazing, Danielle. Danielle has a good comment here. I left too just recently. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Congratulations.
I'm actually going to turn my light back on.
That's awesome. I'm trying to find the
amazing.
comment. Sorry. I want to put it on screen so people can see it. There. Congratulations. That's so cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think live chat definitely leave some hearts and hype in the chat, because that's a big deal. I remember
huge deal
typing in the Discord and the people who I'd been talking to about stuff, and I was like, this feels awful. This feels so bad to leave the group. And the way that the way that I left, trying to be up front, and then ended up getting iced out by people that I had been in daily contact with for years, was it felt like the worst, like, echoiest chamber of, like, blackness, and like darkness is what I meant. And so getting to find other people who had left too, in addition to talking to people in the Discord, I was like, okay, we'll just take it. And you can go to therapy too. It's like, it is difficult if you talk to a therapist and they don't have experience in high control groups or, but work with a professional. So, all right, here we go.
Often said, it took a really hard conversation. Whenever she would share that, it was a hard conversation because people had come and gone out of both of our lives aggressively, fast and furious. And we had been on roller coasters where we had been judged and attacked and hated and all of these for different reasons at different capacities even. And it was just hard to let people in.
Yeah.
And so even when she wouldn't let me in, I still wanted to show up. And I listened to that calling on me that was like...
Erin gave me the inner strength to finally walk away from Prove It. Forever grateful.
Jerry, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you got away from Prove It.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's amazing.
Oh, go see Jesse Lee. Oh, I want to move closer to Jesse Lee. And by moving here, that's when it really became evident that we were in it for the long haul because we had a really hard conversation. We were really upset with each other and frustrated by each other, by how we were being treated by each other. And unknowingly, like so often we avoid those conversations. And in having those, it was obvious for the both of us that, oh, this person is... That's actually my best friend because they're willing.
Wait, hold
Flag
on.
on the field. Oh.
Flag on the field. Wait, is she saying she moved to Texas to be closer to Jesse Lee? Which, why? What could that have possibly helped with? I mean, yeah. Anyways. But then they started fighting because they were realizing, oh, we're fighting because we want to be best friends. I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
What?
It's like, you think like, okay, 1 + 1 is 2, +3 is 5, but then you look at the answer and they're like -40,000. It's like, how did we get to the best friend is status is why we were fighting. Like, I get being able to have upfront conversations with someone you're close to, but also there are some signs that you can look and say, maybe we're not a great fit for each other in a close friendship, and that's okay. It's morally neutral. It's probably even on the healthier side to say, hey, we don't us bumping into each other's boundaries, or even personalities don't jive. That's okay. That's literally okay. Oh my God.
I just can't imagine Julie, Joe, and I fighting and then us saying, oh, well, we had the realization that we wanted to be best friends. What?
I cannot.
No.
Oh my God. It's just, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It definitely doesn't.
Crazy Karaz left It Works. Congratulations.
Brandy also has a member milestone as well.
Let me grab
I think it's definitely something to highlight.
Yeah.
Brandy says, for anyone struggling with loss, I highly recommend seeking out a complicated grief/trauma counselor if you're able to. Talk to professionals. Don't trauma dump on people.
Yep.
And thank you for being a member for 13 months, Brandy. I appreciate you.
It's the best 13 months that the live chat has had. Because if you're watching and you have not experienced a Brandy Lee comment, you're missing out. So if you're just listening to us and you've never gotten to see the live chat, just, one time on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday when Erin is streaming, just go meander to the live chat and see what Brandy Lee is saying. Because it's always a wild time. I'll say that. It is a good and wild time.
I'm a fan.
Yes. Yep.
To tell me how they feel and listen and choose not to seek to understand where I'm coming from. And it was like, we did that for each other. It wasn't a one-way street. It wasn't like just one of us was giving. And to feel safe enough to be able to open and have that conversation. She was like, do you want to talk? I'm like, yeah, let's talk. And we walked out there and we were raising our voices so that other people were hearing us on the other side of the wall and all these things. And like, you know, it's just like, we can laugh at it now, but in the moment it was really uncomfortable.
Confused.
Were you yelling on purpose so other people would hear? That seems like an odd way to say we were having an argument.
Yeah. Definitely. And also, if you're getting to the point, I'm not saying every interaction needs to be calm, cool, and collected, but you deserve to be calm if you want to be calm. Meaning and that's what one of my therapists has told me, but like, if you are getting to the point where you're about to short out your circuits and you're going to communicate in a way that you're going to regret later on, you can take a time out. It's just an option out there. Maybe it wasn't an option for them because that was their path to bestiehood, but this just feels like a red flag to me.
Agreed.
Yep.
And it changed everything for us. So
I love that. Thank you. Because see, there's so much that you shared in there, you know, and I think going right to the beginning of choosing each other, you know, and how relationships are reciprocal, you know, and challenging and often call for difficult conversations. But when you love someone enough, you have the difficult conversation, right? And yeah, I thought about that when I was thinking about, you know, talking with you today and just thinking about the fact that I'm sure there's lots of people who, and I just want to, you know, leave you with this. I'm sure there are lots of people that showed up and wanted to be, you know, in Jesse Lee's world.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a podcast on somebody else's channel, Drea, and we have not moved past the first question. Why did Jesse Lee pick you to be her best friend? 12 minutes in. So...
And no answer.
And Courtney has not, in my opinion, maybe this is wrong. You go to somebody else's podcast, it's like going to somebody else's house. You're like, do I need to take my shoes off? Where do you want to, you know, sit and hang out? Can we have drinks in the living room? Like, you just kind of are respectful and you kind of see like what's going to happen. And you don't overtake the conversation because it's somebody else's house on a podcast. They probably have questions they need to get to so they can make a dynamic and interesting episode. But it's just going to be Courtney literally talking the whole time. So yikes, in my opinion. God.
In the way, she has that infectious, like contagious, you know, really empowering, you know, way. Forgive the city noise behind me.
Zoom does a great job. I can't hear it.
Yeah, it's a little messy because I had to raise the other one, but Jessica celebrates 23 months of membership with Aaron.
That's crazy. Stalking. There's some other ones too.
Let me get the memberships up really quick. Jessica said, hold on. Jessica, I had to pull the comment back up.
Oh my God, Lushy.
I've been pursuing you for almost 2 years. Choose me. /sarcasm. Oh my God. Oh,
and I think Danny had a 15-month membership milestone. Okay. Since DeeCee accidentally missed my membership milestone, LOL. Glad to be in both your memberships. We appreciate you, Danny. Thank you so much.
Sorry about that.
And then I can't see the comments, just so you guys know. I'm looking at it on my phone, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at the comments that you guys are leaving on my channel. So just FYI, the setup's a little bit different.
Yeah. And we're just doing this until StreamYard gets there. Again, StreamYard is probably the most user-friendly platform that works well in all situations, and so they're trying to roll out changes that they can sustain for probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of users. And so this is a stopgap until StreamYard lets us make our own layouts for everybody, but yeah, we'll definitely, I'll make sure to star like the membership and I see a couple of gifted memberships and stuff. We'll start and try to recognize it at the end as well. And
okay, sounds good.
Yeah. And if we miss it, definitely let me know, because I will pause and able to put it on screen. So, okay, here we go.
Okay, Chrissy.
Yeah. But she has that way, and so therefore so many people want to show up, right? But not everyone was given the spot of, best friend. So I just want to really shine the light on that, because let's not let that go by the wayside of that. Yeah. And, let's go back to the park for a minute, because
it takes a lot of strength. Because it takes a lot of inner strength. I want to go back to the park.
Okay, again, Courtney has also said she's neurodivergent. That is sometimes something that happens with, like, the interruption happens. One thing that is strange is that she acknowledges her own interruption and then she continues to talk, which then, with all of her experience on all of the podcasts she's been on, all of the Zoom trainings that she's done, all of her online presence across at least since 2015, it just comes across as inappropriate that you're on someone else's podcast and you're trying to have I think, like Jessica said, a pick me kind of moment.
I just think it's rude.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean to cut you off, but something that you even said there that I didn't fully touch on is that you're going to question yourself when you are alongside of such a powerful person, and you're going to question when you hear them coaching because you've had so many intimate private conversations.
I'm sorry. If you just got here, there's been a little bit of quirks with the mobile streams. The DVR is off for the live, meaning watch it from where it's at. And then when the live ends, you're going to be able to replay it. We were trying to help the best viewing experience for people where they could see it as big as possible, not have to exit out to comment. So YouTube's working on it, but you will be able to replay it at the end of the stream. So immediately at the end of the stream.
Conversations, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. She's literally talking to me right now. She knows I'm on this call. And the more that I start to I had to really reflect and be like, no, that has nothing to do with her or us, and everything to do with how I feel and how I know I'm supposed to show up. And so often,
I think we need a shoulder. I think we need a shoulder. Welcome. Oh, my Lanta.
Thanks for becoming a member, Amanda. It's awesome.
Often in relationships, we internalize things and we forget to not only just remember that it's not always about us, and when we think that it is, it's just a sign that we're supposed to reflect and grow ourselves. And also knowing that if I do feel some type of way, that I need to bring it to that person, because when they love me and they support.
The host is a former, she might still have she's either psychologist or psychiatrist. It has a podcast now, is in the coaching MLM space. We haven't tracked down if she's in an MLM yet, because it seems like a dangerous combo to be a psychologist, psychiatrist, licensed clinician, and then be inserting yourself into these really twisty compensation models that seem to breed high control groups.
And hurt people.
Yeah, and hurt people. So we don't know yet. And we're trying to do it without doxing anybody or not messing with their privacy. She is a public person, but we're just trying to do it and see if there's enough content that's visible to know what MLM she's in. So
support me. They don't want me to feel that way. by something they said. So if I can't shake it on my own, I need to bring it up to them and let them know, hey, I felt this way. And I think that was also really, really massive part of our relationship, is that I just continued to give and not, and if I thought she was upset or if I thought something was going on, I just had to ask and not internalize it for myself, because that would just only bring a wedge between the two of us. And it helped me grow even faster, because I wasn't so stuck on the...
Ma'am? That's basic communication, bro. That's, hey, are you upset about something? Oh, yeah, I didn't like blah, 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 whatever. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. That's basic communication. But she's saying it in a way like, oh, what I'm saying is so profound. No, it's not. Care about what other people feel when they're in your presence. And if you say something that hurts their feelings, apologize.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Yep.
The possibility of something, I was more in the presence of the now, which made a huge difference.
And it speaks so much to asking versus assuming.
This is a great comment. Stacking and placement let her grow further, faster. Let's be honest.
That part.
Yeah. Oh, Brandy Lee said, Aaron, darling, sweetheart, MLMs don't do basic communication. They don't certainly do healthy communication, you know?
That's so true.
Oh my God.
Assuming, right? When our feelings get hurt, sometimes it's natural, wouldn't even fault anybody for the feelings to be hurt and assume something was personal or something is wrong. The willingness to ask and open up and have the difficult conversation, if it's a difficult conversation, so that there's a better understanding versus a knowing.
Yes, and I have to take the things that I've learned in my relationship with Jesse Lee and apply it to my marriage versus the opposite.
What?
Because it does.
What? You're taking what you learned from Jesse Lee to apply it to your marriage? Are you then taking every single thing you learned from Jesse Lee and applying it to every interpersonal relationship you have? Because,
God, I hope not.
God, I hope not.
First of all, weren't you with your husband before you even knew Jesse Lee? But you're going to take, first of all, me personally, I would not take relationship advice from Jesse Lee, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I'm going to stop myself right there.
The breathing said everything, okay? The eyebrows, the head tilt, we got the message. So,
I have been married for 19 years. We've been together for 22 years. I just would not take relationship advice from her.
Yeah. And also I'm not trying, I know we don't see every interaction Aaron has. The surprise interactions where maybe her kids come in to ask a question, you can see the kind, calm, and sometimes firm communication, but it's never mean. It's never, I'm not trying to say you're perfect. I'm saying we've also seen the surprise interactions that come in where the kids, for Courtney, seem that they're a burden and just a pest to her because she wants to be doing something else, i.e. live streaming. And you seem to, and for 2 years, take a break, eye contact, fully engage. There's a healthy communication structure that we see for you. I'm sure, I know it's not perfect, but I don't think you could be tricking us all this time that there are lots of healthy things about it, because there's also an openness that your kids feel welcome and excited to come, hey mom, this and this, or this is what happened at school, or this is a win I had at this, or that's cool. And I see the healthy things, at least the fruits of the healthy things.
Thank you. It wasn't like that in MLM. I'll be perfectly honest, as I always am. when you're in this chaotic, constant grind and you're exhausted and you're trying to get this live done and the kids have stuff going on, it wasn't always that way, but at the end of the day, is this important what we're doing here? Yes. But my kids are extremely important. And if he wants to come in or she wants to come in and tell me something, I'm going to stop and I'm going to listen. And I know that everybody can probably relate to that if you have kids or just have things going on in your household, and I think that it's important to show that because it wasn't always that way when I was in MLM. There was a lot of mistakes that I made personally, being in an MLM and trying to do what I thought was the right thing. And I missed out on a lot of moments with them. And so if they want to come in and tell me about their day or ask a question, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
For sure.
Require the person on the other side to be able to match your energy, and her and I were so good at it, and so Joshua and I are great at it too, but it's like different dynamics because we're together all the time and raising kids, so you can apply it in everything that you do.
Yeah, totally. I love that. What I was going to say before about the park is that another thing that I noticed about you the day we were at Central Park is that just like Jesse Lee, you have an ability to make people feel seen and empowered. And it's an effortless way about you, right? This is a leadership skill that is special. And I'm curious, why is it important that your team, your family, everyone you meet feels special and empowered? Because it's something that you do with grace.
Thank you so much. I'm smiling like that because many reasons.
I know there's a lot of people scrolling through maybe who know about MLMs and who don't. But Amanda just said I missed out a lot too when I was with my direct sales company as I did constant parties and shows. I feel a lot of guilt over that still. Since you've been out of MLMs a while, do you have maybe something you could share about if you felt guilt too, and if you did feel guilt, how you are moving past that? Or I'm guessing I'm kind of asking a weird question, but
no, I get what you're saying. I had a lot of guilt and I had a lot of shame, not just for I was in a company where I did a lot of parties as well, and I was doing 2 and 3 parties a week, if I remember correctly, sometimes more actually. Some of which I was traveling an hour and a half one way to do at a time, and there was a lot of moments that I missed out with our kids, and just a lot of time that I gave away to the MLM. And I think that acknowledging that, and again, I'm not a professional, so if this is something you're really having a hard time with, please, talk to a professional. But for me, I just feel like you have to acknowledge that, and you have to do the best that you can with the day that's in front of you, and just focusing on, today and what you can do differently. And for me, the paying attention when I'm live streaming and the kids come in is something that's very small, but it's very different behavior than when I was in MLM. So I think little things like that. And, I also think it's important to not be super hard on ourselves, but also acknowledge what we participated in and working to just improve and to, for me, talking about MLMs and talking about the tactics is a way for me to educate people so that they don't fall victim to these tactics, some of which I participated in when I was in MLM. So I think acknowledging it, I think just going a different direction, once you're aware of it, and, seeking professional help if you're having trouble working through the guilt and the shame. There's a lot of shame.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shame when you get out of multi-level marketing and you really start to look at what you participated in, and you could have had the best intentions when you were in an MLM. And I know I did, but I had a team, and that team trusted me. And at the time I was like, yeah, I'm helping them build a business. We know that it's not, but at the time I felt I was doing the right thing because of the indoctrination and what I had been fed over the years and all of that. And so you've got to unravel all of that.
Yeah.
You have to unravel all of that and give yourself some grace and just do the best that you can with the day that's in front of you.
That's a really good answer.
Thank you.
It just makes me glow hearing that, because for the longest time I didn't know what my superpower was. And you know, when you're asked and you feel like I don't know what it is, keep reflecting on it, because eventually it will come to show face, especially the more that you get around other people like Dre and I. Like we're entrepreneurs. We have our own businesses. We show up, we have to lead ourselves and lead other people. And whenever you're focused on growth and expansion and what's in the future, it's like these things just start to magically happen. So if you're not there yet.
So are things magically happening because allegedly maybe a CEO is stacking people underneath you so that you are ranking up? Is that the magic you're talking about? Because
along with
magic
along with your best friend that I know has been stacking you over the years, and we all saw it. All of us that were in the Empire saw it.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's almost like she doesn't expect people to call her on, I say lies, the wrong information that she's sharing. That someone's not going to say, hey, that's not what happened. Except Erin's been doing that since she got out of Prove It and got away from the Empire. The Empire doesn't like her doing that. But also, where is the peace? They talk about peace and happiness and all this other stuff. Like, where's the peace in knowing that you're creating kind of a false narrative about how you got to the place that you got? It's not, whatever it's called, manifestation. You got stacked allegedly by the CEO. And then you got stacked by Jesse Lee the entire time that she was your upline. So that's not manifestation. That's some kind of nepotism. I mean, I don't understand. So
it's deception.
Yeah. And that, again, is part of the BITE model of authoritarian control. It's the information control. You can look at what parts of the BITE model there are on freedomofmind.com, but essentially it's behavior control, information control, thought control, emotional control, that things are twisted so that you're forced into making a decision that you wouldn't make if you had informed consent. That's essentially the very, very basic version of what it is. And you can see it in lots of groups, not just multi-level marketing. Not just in groups,
Absolutely.
one-on-one people can do it too. So I hope more people learn about it so more people can be helped and be aware that they don't get stuck in something like this.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're surrounding yourself with it through podcasts. And I just want to commend you and celebrate you, because this is the beginning stages of where you're at. If you're not quite feeling like you have people in your life, the way that
I was placed under Courtney by JL when I briefly attempted to promote. We'll just end the stream right there. I'm just kidding.
Facts right there.
Yep.
We're speaking to each other.
Thank you for
so
sharing
thank
that
you.
with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Jesse Lee had sent me a voice message back in October of 22, telling me my magic ability to not only see people, but to also share it in a way that they can see it in themselves. And then I started learning even more about my human design, which was also another layered process to understanding how I'm able to do this. And you ask, why is it so important for me to allow to see people and empower them in that process? Is because I just started focusing on treating people the way I want to be treated. It's so important, because
I understand I understand wanting to be kind to people or whatever, but you're doing it so that they will want to sign up for your multi-level marketing company. You're doing it for a specific reason. In my opinion, you're putting out all the quote unquote good karma out there so that you have open doors for potential recruits. We've seen them train on this since I started following the Empire when Jesse Lee was still in Pure Romance. So I don't understand.
Let's also remember that she was talking about seeking Jesse Lee out. And to me, there was a very clear underlying reason for that. And there's an underlying reason for her to be saying the things that she is saying here. And just like DeeCee said, it's to recruit people, even though she's never really been a big recruiter. I mean, her numbers said 0 for January and February, according to Prove It's website. And from what I remember, she's never really been a big recruiter. So it's interesting that this facade of, look at me, I'm cosplaying as a business owner, I'm cosplaying as an entrepreneur. And at the end of the day, she's just hopping on from Zoom to Zoom because Brian or Lisa or whoever is saying, hey, get on this Zoom. This is our scheduled Zoom. That's not being an entrepreneur. That's being a contracted worker that gets a 1099 from a multi-level marketing company.
Yeah. Yep. And if you're just scrolling through and you found the stream, glad you're here. When we say that these individuals are not business owners, it's because, for example, they are contractors with whatever company they sign up with. The company can terminate that contract at any point in time. And they're not true business owners, in my opinion. They cannot sell the product for a specific price. They have to sell what the company tells them to do. And they are 100% commission based. I get that. But they have to pay to access their paycheck. And it's not the same as paying rent and having a space to be able to conduct business, or paying for a website and having a fully online business. They cannot access the money that they make from their downline if they do not buy product from the company. There's no other business like that. And every time the argument comes up, oh, but there's overhead in all real businesses. It's different, in my opinion. It's wildly different. So
there's some really great comments here. The first one is by Elizabeth, and Elizabeth says, they act like it's a kindness, but they are manipulating people in a way that cause harm, guilt, and shame. That is not kind. Yeah, agreed.
I love that.
And then the Fancy Beast said, you're made to feel important when asked to lead a team Zoom or help with something.
Yep.
Yes. That you're doing for free.
Yep. And when you stand up for yourself, or you want to leave, or you say, this is not healthy for my family, the finances don't make sense, you're made to feel very small and like you're the worst person on the planet. So
speaking of parenting, what's up, dude?
I made a game.
You made a game? No, because I'm live right now.
I made a game. And I made code for it.
You made what?
I made code for a game.
You made code for a game?
Yeah, like.
What is that even? Is that English? I don't understand.
It's like code to make.
You're speaking DeeCee's language, probably.
Oh my god, you're so smart, dude.
I mean, like code of the game, like that makes the game function.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was wondering if I could use your computer and use Unreal Engine to make that game, so I can put the code in there and have you test out the game.
Yeah, when I'm done live streaming.
Okay.
That sounds awesome.
Do you know what Unreal Engine is?
No, I don't, but you can show me.
Okay.
I think that'd be pretty cool to check out. What's the game? What do you do?
It's basically where you're in a cabin.
You're in a cabin, okay.
And then there's like this.
Is there jump scares? Because I don't do jump scares. It'll make me like throat punch somebody, and I don't think we want all that.
I was thinking about this way before, but I'm not adding that.
Okay.
So, and I finished my homework already. So I've been
You did finish your homework. Great.
Ever since. So, you're in a cabin, and there's like this supernatural demonic deer.
A demonic deer.
And there's a bunch of other deer out there.
Okay.
And they're all standing like normal deer. And when you aren't looking, the deer's going to stand on its hind legs and walk towards you.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And then if you don't look at it, when you look at it and it's almost there, it's going to go. And it's going to disappear.
Okay.
And then, sometimes your windows will open and you have to close them.
Mm-hmm.
Or else the deer can get in or you can die from freezing. And sometimes your power will go out.
That's crazy. You did all this?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I can send you the code.
Okay, well, let's do that when I'm done with the live stream. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sounds crazy. Wow.
I made 2.
Did you do all your other stuff? Okay.
So you're saying your kid's a genius? Is that what I'm hearing?
Was that even English? I didn't understand half of the stuff he was saying.
I'm so impressed. Holy guacamole. Code is my love language. Oh my god. So basically, Halo looks like it looks. We can see the visuals. We can, see the people. What he's done is he does the back end stuff, the code that is showing us the visuals and like the interactions and like what happens when you do stuff. So like the brainy part of all that stuff.
That's like your territory, DeeCee. That's definitely not my territory.
I mean, he's way smarter than I am at this. Avery sent something, I think. Oh, KD.
Oh, that's so nice.
Funds for Gavin's game development.
Oh,
my
that's so
god.
Thank
and Avery sent something too. Funds for Gavin's future development ventures. See, that would be a true small business. Gavin having a game design company, true small business. MLM reps, not absolutely
not so much.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for that. That's really kind. I appreciate y'all. I'll tell them after I get off here.
I think we need some merch for Gavin's game design. I think Avery.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That would be awesome. I would totally buy that, like a bit style of, I don't know. I have something in my head. I'll talk to Avery about it.
Okay.
Put it up. That would be cool.
Oh, you guys are so nice. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
I'll make sure that I give him the money for this.
Oh,
that's
y'all
cool.
are the best. That's so he's gonna be stoked. When you're first like learning how to do stuff and when you first get your, I don't know, like your first money towards something, like it's very exciting. Oh my god, this is incredible.
That's
for
so
Gavin's
nice.
coding endeavors. I want to see the game when it's ready.
Maybe I can do like a community post or something. And I don't know if that would like overwhelm it if a bunch of people got on at the same time, but we'll work on it.
That'd be awesome.
When I say we, I mean he'll work on it, and when it's ready, then I'll post it in the community tab, because that's not my language at all, but I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, Take said, I'm an indie game developer. Props to your kid. He's a genius. Oh
my god. Thank you. That's so
amazing.
Cool.
That's amazing.
I know how good it feels to have to be seen, to know that like.
I'd totally love to play his game, Aaron. If he's open to it, would be cool to share it.
Okay.
Oh, awesome work,
yeah,
Gavin.
Thanks, guys.
Put this towards your programming. That's so cool.
Thank you, guys. That's
incredible.
So cool.
Incredible.
Like,
that's awesome.
Like in June of 22, we went to this event, and I remember, from 2020 to probably 2 years ago or so, even up until this point, I'm realizing what it is now. But it was a process of finding myself again and really just identifying my core values and who I am and how I want to show up and what do I want people to know me for? Like, how do I want people to feel when they walk away from me? Because it's an experience. Like, I want people to feel like meeting me is an experience. They don't remember what I say, but they remember how I make them feel. And that's not just me. It's not, it's not an ego thing. It's not the selfish thing. It's
a little bit, I mean, I think I know what she's trying to say, but from the way that her social has played out, from the way how she's responded to this podcaster, building her up, from what she's done, from what I've seen on social, that's the only inputs I have to make this assumption. It seems like she does want to be a memorable person. But if you actually give a flippity flop about people, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter if they remember you. You know what I mean? Like that's just my opinion. But I'm just a hater troll on the internet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. I also think that what's the underlying theme? She's sitting here saying, you know, I want people to remember how I made them feel. Why? Because there's an underlying agenda.
Yep.
You can be kind to people without, hey, I want them to remember me.
Yeah.
The only reason that she wants people to remember her is so they go, oh, you know what? I should join her ketone company. People that are not in MLMs are just kind to people because they want to be kind to people. There's no agenda there.
Yep. Viola, it was done yesterday. And we got it yesterday. So it's fresh.
She deleted it.
She deleted. Whoops. So if y'all have problematic leaders and you're not very techie, I normally dump my recordings into the free anti-MLM folder, but if you have a leader who you think this person is really creating a stir in a bad way, you can DM me or send me a message and I can add them to the auto recorder and, you know, distribute the information so that more people can be warned about people who are in the scammy category. Oh, totally support.
Thanks, fancy beast.
Totally support Gavin, but this is for extra Diet Dr. Pepper for Aaron to be hydrated during the gaming presentation.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
I love it. This is incredible. When you're genuine, people appreciate and respect that. When you're forcing a sale with a fake smile, people run.
And you have to remember, if you've never been in a multi-level marketing company, you are taught that everybody is a lead. The majority of your day, whether it's on social media or you're attending events where there's other people there or anything like that, you are constantly sorting people. There is always an underlying agenda, always.
Yeah.
Whether it's a family function, a professional function, there was always a hidden agenda. So when you see videos like this where they're like, hey, I'm just trying to bring you value, ask yourself why. Well, why is she speaking like this? Well, one, she wants people to follow her on social media, but the reason that she wants that is so that she can recruit them or she can get them to buy ketones from her. There's always a hidden agenda when you are dealing with somebody that's in a multi-level marketing company.
Yep. And Hannah Alonso is a MLM creator. She also does other content. She's a bigger creator. She says, look at the source and remember the motive. And I think that's a great succinct way to put it. Betty said, hi, just tuning in. We'll go back and listen from the beginning. I have a quick question. Why would Courtney delete this live if it is going to be memorialized on a podcast? What am I missing? Well, the podcast ended and then there's like 15 extra minutes at the end. And also, I'm guessing the podcaster is going to cut down some of the answers because Courtney rambles a little bit. So I'm a fan of seeing somebody in the entirety. That's how we found out about the Columbia stuff. That's how we found out about her, Jesse Lee Ward saying all the awful things about Aaron, like, because we're 2.5 hours in, they think, no one's going to listen to that part, and you find it. So it's the stuff that nobody thinks that is going to be saved on the internet. So there's stuff at the end, basically. All right.
Oh, there's a question.
Yep.
Cal has a question.
Okay.
Wondering if there's a time yet for the next fundraiser for the testing. And what Cal is referring to is we as a movement had 3 of Prove It's products tested for heavy metals. They came back positive for small amounts of heavy metals. And I do want to do that again. I just need to pick a date. And I also want to do it in conjunction with like a Prove It video. So do I have a date as of now? No. Is that coming in the very near future? Yes.
Love that.
I need to get it scheduled. I need to wrap my brain around how I want to do it. I'm going to do it very similar to last time as far as the fundraiser part. I've already been in contact with many people that are sending me some ketones, different products, because I'd like to have some of the newer products tested from Prove It. And so I've been in contact with the lab, and I've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes. So that is coming. Do I have a date yet? No, because again, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around all of the pieces of it.
Yeah. And this may be an overreaction on my part. If you were in Prove It and you were drinking ketones, or like you were instructed to 2, 3, 4 times a day, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm saying understand that when Aaron sent those products to be tested, they contained heavy metals. I would, if make a smart medical decision, and if you have access to medical care, maybe talk to your doctor and say, hey, is this a concern? Should I get tested for something?
That's what I did.
And I love that.
Yeah, I went to my doctor and I said, there's this supplement that I used to take, and I told her what it was. And I said, I had it tested and they came back to be positive for heavy metals, and I'd like to get tested. I'd like to have a heavy metal panel test done, which is blood work. You go to the lab, you have it done. And luckily mine came back as all normal and everything is good. But yeah, that's what I would do. If, just like DeeCee said, if you have access to that, I keep pointing this direction. I need to be pointing this direction. Sorry. But if you have access to that and you've been drinking Prove It ketones, I definitely would suggest that, especially if you're having any kind of symptoms of anything that you can't really explain. You can't figure it out. I'm not saying that that's happening. I'm just saying if something is going on, maybe that's something that you can take to your doctor and ask the questions. And I do have the lab results posted on my community tab so that you can screenshot that or whatever and send it to, or you take it to your doctor. They do have small amounts in them. And just like I said, when we were having everything tested, my concern is the amount of products that these people are consuming on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Even if it's a small amount of heavy metals, as the lab results showed, it's the quantity that people are consuming and how many of those products have heavy metals in them. We don't know yet. We haven't obviously tested all of their products, but
yeah,
that's my concern.
Yeah. Remus said, hey, Aaron, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but where is that video of the guy who made a live about Jesse Lee's death in her chair? Because that was the most wild video to me.
Oh, that was Aviram. That was her boyfriend.
So could Remus type in Aviram and your name and get the videos that would come up?
Oh, you can find that one, I think, on my channel. And I think it's titled something like He's in Prove It Now or something like that. You should be able to find that on my channel.
Cool.
I believe. Yeah.
Also a donation from Leo to Gavin for his game.
Oh,
that's so sweet.
Thanks, Karina. Give Leo a squeeze for me. That's amazing.
Oh, go Gavin. We love to see it. Gavin's going to be stoked.
He's going to be so excited. I don't even know what we're up to here.
I can send you a screenshot because they're coming in. We've got,
okay.
Yeah. I guess
I just want to get the cash and give it to him for this.
Cool.
So
sweet.
It's that we have that in all of us. And
the which guy?
The joy guy.
Oh,
that Maggie just said. I thought it was the joy guy. Oh, Avery Joe got it.
Oh, what a boss
move,
move, Avery.
I know.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
I owned it.
Thank you.
I owned it for myself. And with this really comes a lot of initiations, because you will also trigger people and they will feel like you're fake. And that's
it's the lightsaber guy. Yeah, the joy guy.
The bubble guy.
Yeah. So Avery linked the one with Avi, and I think we'll take a look and find the one for the lightsaber.
It's only a reflection of what they're facing, and you have to let that go and just keep owning throughout it. Who am I and how do I want to show up? And so when I would walk away from people that would lock eyes with me, that would shake my hand strongly, that would leave me feeling like that they would really listen to what I was saying and they were seeking to understand and asking me questions, I was like, that felt so good. I want to give more people that experience. And so I lock eyes with people and I just own that this is an experience. And I want you to know that you are magical and you have gifts to provide this world. And you are such a unique being that there are things that only you can do. You have a mission. I mean, Jerry, you know, you have a mission. You have a purpose. It's why you answered that calling and you quit the 9 to 5 and you're like, I'm going to figure this out. And you said before, like, if I would have known all of the challenges that I would have faced, you still would have done it. She said she's like, I don't know if I would have. Yes, you would have. Because you're not the same person. Because we have to be, you wouldn't have been able to take your walks.
Right.
And go live and build this community of beautiful beings. Like, and I just remember all along the way, I'm learning, like, if you only need 100 super fans to become as successful as you dream yourself to be.
I love that.
100 people that really love you. And I'm like, you just have to find out, who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And what experience do you want to allow people to feel when they walk away from you? And that's
Cal said this is for Gavin, but I'm kind of curious if he's using Python, .NET, Java, JS, and I'm really curious to see what he's messing around with.
I have no idea. Gen Xer here. Hello. I am okay with technology, but I am constantly learning.
And you're a quick learner. You're a very you pick up stuff really fast. Libby, what in the Katy Perry Pinterest quotes is this? This is Courtney Shortney, a prove it independent contractor, and who just got stacked to a promotion of rank 10, and we are listening to a word salad and also a very a very telling unhealthy response to grief, and then using, in my opinion, her best friend's death to make money. Which is wild.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
This is the motivational speaking part of the podcast. Do I think everybody has gifts and talents? Yes, absolutely I do. Do I think that people have purposes? Sure. I also think that not everything needs to be assigned a meaning. And when you're in an MLM, everything has a meaning. Everything. And in fact, when DeeCee was editing this stuff, hey, Vin, I have something to tell you. Hang on a second. When DeeCee and I were planning this and working through all the stuff that needed to be done behind the scenes, she said, I cut out 440 gaps or pauses, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you remember what I said?
I think Jesse Lee would have loved that number or something like that. I don't remember exactly.
I would have been like, yeah, Courtney would have assigned angel numbers to that and been like, it's a sign. Not everything needs to have a sign. Not everything, sometimes things just happen, I feel like. And I know everybody here has different spiritual beliefs, and I respect everybody's spiritual beliefs. But these types of spiritual beliefs, when you're in a multi-level marketing company, are used to manipulate people. Like, see, you're on the right track. Keep going. That's, yeah.
Yep.
Gavin, somebody on the live, I think Cal was who was asking.
Yes.
Cal wants to know. No, I don't want you on camera though. Cal asked what you're using for coding.
What does she mean? What do they mean? I don't know.
Yeah, they. Like, are you using Java? What are some of the other things?
I'm using Java code.
Java.
Oh, let's go. That's awesome.
And also, what's that?
No, like that's good. Oh, you got more. Do you want me to tell you the amount?
Yeah.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, $55.
Hold on a second.
55.
55?
Yeah.
So there were people on this live that heard you talking about the coding, and they sent a bunch of them sent $5, so they sent you $55.
No way.
Yeah. What do you
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
So
You didn't need to do that though.
I know, that's so nice, right?
Yeah. I
So
could use that money to.
what would you for what?
I mean, if I'm using models from engines that I could use, I could probably like models. They're like $1.24 for like pre-built models. So you don't have to build them yourself in Unreal.
For coding?
Yeah, because if honestly, I don't know if I could do it, but if I put a USB somewhere in your computer and then I uploaded code onto it for Minecraft, like a mod, and then put it into the PS5, maybe it could work, but I don't want to test that out. So
You don't want to mess with your PS5. You'd have to research that, I think.
yeah, I'd research it, but
that's
well,
awesome.
that sounds cool.
I don't have the deer model yet, like for the spooky deer. So
Yeah.
I don't have the model for it yet. So I need to make that in like Blender or something. But that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, you have some money
Unreal Engines, I think, is free. If it's not, I can just use that computer up there once Dad fixes it.
Yeah.
Because if I get this done, I could probably import that and make a bunch of games on there.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to do that, and then that can be like a coding computer for you up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And then you have money that you can spend. They sent the money for coding. That's what it's to be used for, not PS5 games.
I know.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Well, what would I use it for?
I don't know. Go check it out. Go think about it. Maybe do a little research.
Yeah, I'm gonna scratch me right here.
Are you okay?
Is there something in my eye?
No. Let me see.
This eye right here?
No, I don't see anything.
Nothing?
No. Okay.
Like, it feels like she scratched right here. Like right here.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Eyelids are kind of sensitive. Oh, yeah. She's trying to give you a love. Okay. I'll talk to you when I'm done, okay?
Okay. They did not have to send 50.
I know. That's so nice.
He's so sweet.
Thank you.
11 people?
11 people. 11 people. Wild.
So cool.
Thank you, guys. Okay, sorry.
No, it's the best. It's the best. Oh my gosh. There's so many comments coming in. Yeah. Y'all supportive like Gavin, and that's so cool. That's awesome. All right. Back, unfortunately, to Courtney.
That's
so
really where it stemmed from. And, it's interesting because in the process, I really felt like I'm really good at coaching mindset and leading people through mindset and all of these things. And I couldn't quite identify what it actually was. But if we just take time to listen to people and get to know them, I can't say that I know that this is my God-given gift and I've just learned to hone it in as a skill and develop it over time.
I'm sorry.
But I will
Are you trying to say your God-given gift is to manipulate people's mindset so they join your multi-level marketing company? Because I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, I think it's antithetical to what she claims her religion to be about as well. So, come on, what is happening?
It's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, I think it's a no from everybody in the live chat as well. So. If you want to watch DeeCee on a stream playing Gavin's deer game, I mean, I'm open to it. That
would be fun. That would be fun. Awesome. I'll see what we can set up. I may have to connect DeeCee and Gavin because I have no idea. Java? What? Are we talking about coffee? I don't understand.
Tell you that listening and seeking to understand is a skill that we can all develop, just asking questions and really truly getting to know people.
Yeah, it's so good. It's absolutely, so there's so many things so many different directions I want to go. Yes, let me go backwards. It's definitely a skill. I feel like this is emotional intelligence at its best, and it's something that can absolutely be cultivated.
I'm sorry. What's up? Emotional intelligence. You think this is emotional intelligence? Okay.
And again, you can also say everything you want to, and then if what you're choosing to do as a human could say you're not emotionally intelligent at all. So, and even still, what Courtney's saying, I would never say, ding, emotional intelligence. Yep, that's what we have right here. But I'm not a psychiatrist or a licensed clinician. I'm just I've just listened to a lot of Courtney Shortney content over the past, year and a half, almost 2 years. So, jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So much to say about that.
And to that note, I just want to spotlight, I jotted down a couple of things that you said, going all the way back in the beginning, this idea of leading self. I just want to spotlight for everybody that's listening, to anyone who is up to entrepreneurship or creative, journeys and all of the things. Leading self is often overlooked, right? But it's the biggest piece here, because how can we lead others if we don't lead self? And so I just want to shine the light on that, because that's a powerful piece to spotlight. And compassionate leadership, I believe, is one of the results of leading self, having a particular journey. And I feel it does develop and enhance by way of the journey. So tell us a little bit about your journey. What do you notice about how far you've come?
I am jotting things down so that I can look back at it. Inside of you recapping that, and the way that these questions are obviously flowing.
Sorry, what?
She could have just kept the video if she wanted to look back at it, but no, she deleted it. Why? Probably because of the things that you said throughout this, Courtney. You probably didn't want that out, but yet here we are.
Yep. I wonder if the podcaster is going to leave in the part about, she hasn't said it yet, right? That Jesse Lee passing away. She hasn't said that part. Okay.
Not yet.
I would be shocked if the podcaster is going to leave that in, because that was wild to
all
hear.
is going according to plan,
Oh God. That's so offensive, in my opinion.
It is so offensive that they are all saying that and have t-shirts made.
Like, no, like, kids, nobody should get cancer. Like, kids should get cancer. Jesse Lee passing away at 34 or whatever from cancer, like, that is not all according to plan. That was awful. Her family lost a daughter, a sister, her friends, if she had true, genuine friends. And I know Courtney misses her, but like, that was not according to any kind of good plan. That was just, that was awful. You had a devastating disease and you passed away from it, and nobody wanted you to pass away from it. So, like, now her whole team's saying, according to plan, or all is according to plan. It's like, no? Why are we the only ones saying, like, something's really wrong here? Something is wrong. And she had...
I agree.
She
and
had
her suffering...
Yeah. One nephew, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When they say all is according to plan, I immediately think not just of Jesse Lee's death, also her suffering at the end.
Yep.
That didn't need to happen. There's a reason that they have care for people that have terminal cancer. And that part bothers me so much. The fact that she suffered and these people watched her suffer. And why? It's inhumane.
Yeah.
And I used to work in the medical field. It's inhumane, the amount of suffering that this person dealt with because of all the yes people she surrounded herself with, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just, that part gets me, because nobody should suffer like that. Makes me mad.
Yeah. Yep. And if you're in a group and you're saying, like, something feels off, it's okay to take a pause and think through that and check to see if your biases or your, just going along with the group have led you to a place of, like, maybe that's unhealthy. They're going to try to get you to do unethical thought-stopping techniques to not do that. But that is okay to say, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't seem right. I need to pause. And they never want you to pause. They never want you to stop and think. Because if you do,
correct,
then you may be able to make a pivot in a different decision. Yeah. And Pam is a cancer survivor and said, "Let me tell you, getting cancer is never in anyone's plan. This is a terrible thing to say."
Thank you, Pam.
I really feel like at the end of this, you'll be able to almost reverse it and really figure out back to the first question of why is Jesse Lee my best friend? Because the journey of even finding out that first time, it's kind of like, in a relationship, like sometimes you don't want to be the first one to say, I love you. I didn't want to be the first one to be like, that's my best friend. So I was like, if she's not going to claim it, I'm not going to claim it. And I think she kind of felt the same way. So we're like, no. And that conversation, we still hadn't said it. So for those who were on the Celebration of Life, I told this story. The journey to owning being the number one's best friend is a process in itself. And I think that in that journey, I've lived here in Texas for 4 years, moving here, she was in 3.
I thought she asked a different question about her growth, and then we are still on how did Jesse Lee pick you as a best friend?
Mm-hmm.
Have some respect to the question. I understand going on a squirrel trail. I do it all the time. Have some respect for the time for the podcaster who's trying to make the podcast, even though I don't agree with the podcast content and coaching MLMs. But how are we still on yourself, self-focus, and how Jesse Lee picked you? I'm baffled. I'm baffled.
I have a theory.
Oh, I love it. Let's have a theory.
My theory is that Jesse Lee and her passing has become part of Courtney's brand. So anytime she can come back to that and talk about how close they were and their story of how they were best friends, she's going to bring it back to that conversation because it's validating her, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When she talks about Jesse Lee, she feels seen.
Yep.
Just my opinion. Obviously, I'm, not a professional in that department, but I just feel like it has everything to do with what I talked about at the beginning of this and how Courtney has to compete as the one and only person who was the closest to Jesse Lee. And I think that this is tying right into that.
Yeah. And again, we can say Courtney has tied herself into Jesse Lee so much that she seems to have lost herself. That happens all the time in high control groups. And
Absolutely.
We can also say, yeah, you've been sucked into high control group, and also what you're doing right now is unethical and it seems wrong to us. So it could be it's a complex situation when you're involved with a high control group. You can be a victim and a perpetrator.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to forget that high control groups are complex, and leaving high control groups are complex, and the nuance. And I know that's why I love streaming with Aaron. I love Aaron's channel, remembering the nuance and the complexity that happens with these leaders and with groups. I think it's important to note that. So,
and I think also adding to that, I think that we have to understand that the nuance does not excuse unethical behavior.
Yes.
And we've seen a lot of unethical behavior, in my opinion, from Courtney, specifically around Jesse Lee's passing and afterwards, which I'm sure we're going to get into. So just be prepared for that because she does mention that in this video. And I've watched the whole thing. So just FYI.
Love that.
Different homes in the process. I was in 2. She lived with us for 2 months of that. Just like we've been in business together for longer than that, but we've been in our current company for 6.5 years. So it's like this, it all coincides for me.
Oops.
Because I have been a full-time entrepreneur in network marketing. As a leader of an organization, massively, continuously growing, for that entire time and working from home. And for the last 4.5 years, my husband's been home full time with me, raising our 2 and then 3 children that we had a little over 2 years ago, 2.5 now. He turned 2 on September 14th. So the process of.
Oh, so that was extra emotional for her because her youngest had his birthday and then Jesse Lee passed 2 days later. Very, like, that must have been a lot.
Yeah, and then Bree had her baby the following week after jail passed.
Wow.
Horrible.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
The journey of all of this.
Sorry about that. It was a technical difficulty. Everything should be good now for everyone's view.
Motherhood and of being a wife and of healing my inner child while raising my own. You know, my oldest is.
Is there a way to effectively, quote unquote, heal your inner child without working with a licensed clinician? I think you could probably do some work, but are you I'm just curious.
Remember the underlying motive.
Yes.
I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with healing any kind of lingering trauma from your childhood.
Okay.
Whether that's healing your inner child or however you want to word that. But I think that we also have to remember that this is in conjunction with her talking about Jesse Lee and multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
And it's becoming a part of her brand. Her grief, and I'm going to say this, and it's uncomfortable for me to say this, but it's genuinely how I feel. I think that her grief is becoming part of her brand. And grief is something that when it's this layered and complicated, I just feel like it's not meant to be on social media. It should be talked with a professional and worked through with a professional that can handle complicated grief. And unfortunately, I just feel like this is all becoming a part of her brand. Jesse Lee is becoming a part of her brand. Jesse Lee's dogs are becoming a part of her brand. The gifts that people send her and have sent her are becoming a part of her brand. And it's becoming less and less about who Courtney is as an individual and more about, hey, I'm Jesse Lee's best friend. And there's nothing wrong with being Jesse Lee's best friend. But when you're using it as a part of your brand to try and recruit people or sell them, MLM products, that's unethical. That's in my opinion, that feels abnormal.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
8 years old now, starting this profession because I needed a few $100s just to feed our family. It started originally.
Wasn't there a situation where where she was being helped out by a relative that she has since cut out of her life? She is creating a story that doesn't paint a clear and truthful picture of the situation.
Yep. Allegedly. Yep. Also, Courtney, did you buy your own starter packs in these companies or no? Because I feel like that's an important part of the story. I feel like that is important.
Yeah. Yep. And again, why hide it if it's not for information control to try to get people to sign up for your multi-level marketing schmeme? Why use it? Because you're trying to you're trying to mess with people so that they will choose you, and that's wrong. When you're lying about what people are saying yes to.
Also, who's controlling Jesse Lee's Instagram? Speaking of being part of a brand, speaking of there's going to be mention of funnels, or there has been, I don't remember. Maybe that's another video. But anyways, who's actively following and unfollowing people on Jesse Lee's Instagram? Because I've heard Courtney say that she has access to it. Why would somebody that's passed away need to be actively building their Instagram? Unless she's following specific people, and this is just a theory, I'm not stating this as a fact, is somebody responding and going, oh my God, what? Oh, it's me, Courtney. You can follow me over here if you're more comfortable. Meaning on her personal Instagram. Courtney's, not Jesse Lee's. Who is following and unfollowing people? And why? Because that would be uncomfortable. Can you imagine getting followed by somebody that passed away 5-6 months ago?
No. Like for me, when I see, and I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm just saying my own experience. There's people in my life who passed away. Their Facebook pages are still up, and there's this thing where people go and say happy birthday on their pages still year after year. And my heart like drops every time I see that notification of so and so wrote on so and so's wall.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, it's like, but they're not alive anymore. They're not here anymore. And it's like, I'm sure I could see that her family would be distraught by that, or people close to Jesse Lee would be distraught by seeing like, oh my God, she followed me back, and then it's not her.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that following people from somebody that's passed away, and I think that the happy birthday thing is a part of the grieving process. It's a way to honor that person, even if they're not here. Happy birthday in heaven, or whatever you believe in.
Yeah.
Those types of things. I think that that's healthy grieving, in my unprofessional opinion.
Yeah.
But I think that following people,
Agree.
on it just,
Yeah.
I just think that that's really uncomfortable, and it makes me ask the question, what's the reason?
Yep.
What is the underlying motive of that continuing to happen? Courtney, if you're watching this, are you doing it? Is it Jesse Lee's former assistant? Is it Aviram? I don't know. But what's the reason?
Yeah. Yep. And we have some new people in the chat. Hello. Some people are wondering what multi-level marketing is. Not all multi-level marketing companies are classified or have been found to be pyramid schemes, and not all pyramid schemes are multi-level marketing companies. However, we believe that multi-level marketing companies are unethical at its very core because of the compensation structure, how the recruiting process goes, how the group control goes, and maybe Erin can say more about like specifics about what she believes. My biggest issue is, in multi-level marketing, the uplines make a commission on whatever volume is purchased by their downline. So they could make a small commission from what a customer buys from the company, but whether the downline is able to move the product that they've purchased to a customer, that doesn't matter to the upline, because once they can convince their downline to buy volume from the company, they've got their money. So it's very twisty, because in a regular sales position, I'm not against commission. If a sales manager would wait for all of the customer sales to be submitted at the end of the month, and then they would be paid a commission after what was actually sold to customers was turned in, not what the downline purchased in inventory. And that's my biggest issue. One of my biggest issues. The second one is that they make more money by having a team than they do by selling the product. And those can both be indicators of a pyramid scheme. So we take issue with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. I think the term multi-level marketing. So you maybe have a product or a service, and you're getting a commission, like DeeCee was explaining, for selling that product or service, a small commission, but the big money is in recruiting and having a team. So multi-level means recruiting people and having multiple levels. So you can look at the shape of a pyramid. I love when MLMers make like a pyramid shape with their hands in their video. It's my favorite thing to put in a thumbnail, because they all do it. It's great. But joking aside, it is a predatory business model where you could sell the product and make a small amount of commission. Typically, those products are wrapped around health claims and, different things like that have no data to back up the claims that they're making. And you make bigger money off of recruiting and having a team. And so that's why you will hear terms like leverage or things of that nature. It's basically meaning recruiting people. So, yeah.
Twisty.
Very.
Yep.
because it was fun. And then it was like, no, we have to do this. This is like, there's no other option because we're capped out at our jobs and I'm not going to go work and have to. So all of these different things, it's like the journey it's like, that is the part that once I really started to just break it down layer by layer and become extremely present in each layer of it that I just described. Like when we really think about the journey, I'm trying to be the best leader I can be. I'm trying to find friendships that like a community that I can feel a part of and feel like there's more to life than just, we're all looking for a meaning. Like it's a tribe. It takes a tribe, a village to raise children. It takes a village.
That is the most ridiculous answer. You can find community without having to pay to join a multi-level marketing company. In fact, I think that is one of the most manipulative things that people try to use in order to recruit people into MLM. Is, find your tribe and find your community and this and that. And it's a community based off of transactional relationships. As long as you are ordering the products, they're going to, hey, she's all right in our book. They're all right in our book, but as soon as you turn off the auto ship, as soon as you start questioning what you're a part of, as soon as you start asking, why am I on this Zoom? Because we're not really learning anything. What are we learning here? Mindset? As soon as you start questioning anything and start stepping away, you will get removed from that community. And that is one of the many parts, I should say, that is the most hurtful to people. They think that these people love and respect them. And as soon as you say, this isn't for me, or you quietly step away, that's when it gets absolutely vicious. And that is the part that is the most hurtful. Yes, the finances, the loss of income, which is over 99% of, according to the FTC, as far as loss of money for people that participate in MLM. Of course, that part is just horrific. But also the guise of having a community, just like Courtney is saying, when it's all based on transactional relationships. I just think the whole thing is really disgusting. And also, did she just say that she was capped at her job before MLM? I don't know what her job was, but I would love to know more about that because that's the first I've heard of that.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I know what it is, so it would be. I think it'd probably be doxing if I shared it, but I don't know how you can be capped when you can work essentially as many hours and probably have overtime. So, I mean,
interesting.
And you get pay raises every 6 months, so but go off. I don't understand. Okay. I don't understand.
Maybe you can text me that later because I'm just kind of curious how that would work.
Yeah, I will text it. I will text it to you.
Okay.
See, play.
The community to feel a part of something, but we're not meant to do this life alone at all. At the core of our ancestry, like we are meant to do this together. And I think it's so beautiful to see all of these people. Like, I can't tell you how long I've wanted to live on a compound. And the more that I start to process and the more I'm like not a compound, like culty, but like we joke about it like that because it's like, I would love
End stream. End stream.
Oh my god.
What?
Does this need to be a two-parter? Because, like, holy crap. The amount of stuff that you have to break down that also is nothing, but also is like, what is happening, Courtney? What did you just say?
They talked. Jesse Lee talked about having a compound. Having a huge chunk of property where all the leaders lived. She talked about that. I remember this.
What in the teal swan is going on here?
Seriously.
And
who would you have on that compound, Courtney?
I don't know.
Family members?
Terrified.
No?
Yeah, probably not family members.
Just team members, right? Leaders? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. What's a non-culty compound? They don't exist. Yeah. I mean, there can be, I guess there's... and again, being a part of a group isn't bad. When you look at the influence continuum, you look at there is always influence going on. There's positive influence and there's destructive influence. And you can go and look at what are the characteristics of healthy influence and what are the characteristics of destructive influence. And you can, once you learn those, you can say, okay, is the group that I'm a part of healthy, or is it on the destructive side? So like learning more, you get to empower yourself to protect yourself and also help others. You're God. And then we're here with Courtney.
People that are great gardeners that are my friends to be close to me, and then I can trade my skills that I have, like you were.
Don't worry, all the houses in the compound are leased, so when you lose rank, they just move you out. You don't own it. God. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Oh man.
Jeez.
We're talking about, it's not, I have physical skills too, also along with being able to see the magic in others and share it with them. But that's a huge, massive part of community as well.
Totally.
And so I have fallen in love with the process of becoming the next version of myself over and over and over and over and over again. I have worked on understanding and developing the emotional intelligence and just being able to adapt in situations. And
doesn't emotional intelligence also require you being truthful about situations and not manipulating others so that you get a desired outcome? Isn't that one aspect of emotional intelligence?
I agree. Also, I would think that taking ownership of how you contributed to whatever scenario might be important for emotional intelligence.
Yep. In that self-awareness, category that you're talking about. Jeez.
We don't know her.
Yep.
Evolve and just like surrounding myself with other people that feel that and experience that as well. Gary Vaynerchuk always comes to mind when I think about this because, if your goal, like we had a goal of paying cash to take our kids to Disney. We did that. It was on my birthday. I was pregnant. We did it. We paid cash. Like I didn't have to, I think at the time I knew how to use my cards. We didn't have credit cards. So that's why I said that. And then I knew how to use them. So we used them and then paid them off. So we earned points for it in the process.
Wait, what? So in 2021, you know how to use credit cards, but you're acting like you just learned how to use credit cards and you're in your 30s? I don't understand what's happening. What is happening here? Another sign, just another deal of like you're twisting the story. It seems like you're twisting the story to create
also,
whatever
Lauren
story.
Lauren says, that's not what paying cash means. Paying cash means paying in cash. That doesn't mean putting it on a credit card and paying it off later.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Contradict. Yep. Definitely.
Oh, man.
Yep. I just is strange. She also said she didn't have them. And now she's saying she did have them. So,
yeah.
Interesting.
Like many other things. Which story is it, Courtney?
Yep.
Just like it felt like, yes, we did this. But it wasn't going to Disney that
we don't know.
The goal of actually going there, it felt good. It was a great experience, but it's just like planning the trip. It's like the planning part is the most fun.
What? Okay, maybe for some of y'all in the live chat, let me know. The planning of the trip might be fun. I like doing the stuff. I like, if you're going to go camping and you're going to go see like beautiful scenery and like, that's the fun part. Going like, I don't know, going to New York and being able to go see some plays and eat really delicious food. Like, that's the fun part. Like, and maybe live chat's going to say, no, you have it all wrong, DeeCee. The planning is the fun part. I would hope the end result would be the most fun part of said vacation.
Well, for the planners, the people that enjoy planning, I'm sure the planning is the best part, but
yeah. Yeah. And Amanda said, I think it's seeing the joy in your kids' faces, I guess, if you like your kids.
Yes.
And I know my parents felt that about us. They loved doing things that like we were passionate about, and that got them excited. Like when we were able to take vacations and stuff like that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
When you go back to it and then you actually experience being there, yes, it's a great process, but then oh, this is almost done.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need something next. What's next? And so for me, my journey of falling in love with becoming has been the best part of it for me, because I don't feel like I've arrived. I don't want to feel like I've arrived.
That's so cool. That's where my husband lives, in Japan right now. Talking about the things we're going to do are so exciting, but I love seeing the plan come together and doing the trip. That's a good point. That's a good point. If you are the excitement of getting to talk about like what you want to do, that's also fun. So
arrived. I want to continue to grow and evolve and become a 1% better version of myself every single day. And, just aligning with more people that, and I know that it's a process. Like, it's this roller coaster of life that I know for sure I'm going to be on for the next at least 2 years of this up and down, left and right. Like, I can choose to live in, and I say that because there's so many things of this grief journey. Like, I'm fully aware I have it for the next 2 years. That's what I mean by that. It's like, in case you're wondering, like, how do you get the number 2?
Like a time. Maybe I don't know. There's not a time thing for people that's consistent. That's like, okay, you're gonna be in grief for however this long, and then you're gonna be out of grief. It hits you in waves, and as you're working with hopefully a licensed clinician, you can learn how to navigate your grief. But I've lost people, and it's been a very long time, and I still get emotional about it, and that's okay. I miss people that I loved deeply, and they're not here anymore. And yes, grief is not like a cold. It's not like something you're trying to get over. It feels sometimes like it's interwoven. And when you get to work with a therapist, you help that grief not completely destroy like infrastructure in your, mind and your heart. I know that's not the right term, but when you get to work with an ethical licensed clinician, they can really help you navigate stuff and get tools where you can sit with your grief and help also realize that there's life left to live as well.
I just don't understand where the 2 years came from.
I don't either.
Where'd you get that from? Jay Shetty? Get a refund.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
It just is what it is. I can feel it. Is it exactly 2? I don't know. But I know at least 2 years. It's up and down. And I was on this women's retreat. And I said, I'm not going to give it to you exactly, because I like screamed and I just like let myself, like the sounds come out of me. But it was like, what happens when we're on a roller coaster? How many of you think about it? How many of you love roller coasters? I do.
What? Yeah.
But how many people will not get on them?
How do we get
Are we comparing grief to a roller coaster? What happened here?
And why is she saying that it's fun if you're making the comparison that grief is the roller coaster? Why would grief ever be fun? Pitch? Oh, yeah, I forgot. We're recruiting people. I forgot we're always recruiting.
Always. Is the roller coaster just Courtney saying, just join already. Get on the roller coaster. You don't have to be scared. I don't know. This is odd.
This is hard to follow for me, for sure. Because it's like, what are we talking about? Like, and again, if you've been a quote unquote leader in an actual business and led people to quote unquote 6 and 7 figure earnerhood, would it not be safe to assume that you would be a better communicator, because you'd have to communicate ideas that would be clear and helpful to others for them to follow tasks or instruction to meet their sales goals? Because I don't see the connection. I don't see the connection that, okay, you say you're good at developing 6 and 7 figure earners, but then we have the behavior they're so far apart. They can't even see each other.
They're not connected.
Yeah. Yep.
In my opinion.
Refuse to ride them, are in fear of what could happen potentially. Because, just like flying a plane, planes are safer in the air than they are on the ground. What? They're not meant to sit. So
planes are safer in the air than they are on the ground. Like, I mean, percentage-wise, that's literally... Is that true? Does she mean like planes are safer mode of transportation than driving a car? Is that what she meant?
I mean, did Ed Milet tell you that, Courtney? Because come on, get a refund.
Come on, dude.
Also, I think we have reached the fallacy part of this podcast interview.
Love it. We love a fallacy. We love debunking all the fallacies.
We really do.
Oh, jeez. We're all confused, Yvonne. We're confused. We don't know what's happening. I don't know how the podcaster is going to put this together in a coherent way.
She doesn't have a podcast episode.
It's just like regular, like Courtney Shortney's, just a regular live stream. Except there's someone else that she's talking to. Oh, man.
When I was explaining the journey of the roller coaster, I'm like, we're climbing, just like we climb the mountain. And the mountain is ourselves. It's this inner piece of us that do we allow ourselves to truly show up authentically and release, like shed the layers as we climb the mountain, shed the layers of the journey, like the process that we're going to, the learning how to lead ourselves and develop our skills and surround ourselves with more people that are aligned with our vision and our passions and where we're going, the people that we would want on our compound or living on our like the land with us so that we could, share more experiences with them and just be with each other. Like as you're climbing that, for so many of us though, it's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, this is so much work and we're huffing and we're puffing to get up. And then we stand at the top and we're like, yes, I can see it. I can see where I'm at.
We're huffing and puffing and blowing the house down.
On the roller coaster. That's
on a roller coaster. Also with an airplane that's in the air, that's safer in the air than it is on the ground. I'm going to ask my husband that. Babe, are airplanes safer in the air or on the ground? I got her. Sorry, DeeCee.
Make it make sense, except I don't know how to make it make sense. This is so confusing. Oh
I love this comment from Ginger. Or blowing the pyramid down. We're huffing and puffing and blowing the pyramid down.
Yes. Love it. Jerry bombastic side eye. Yes.
And he will. He absolutely will.
Oh. Ships are safest at shore, but that's not what ships were built for. Brandy Lee coming in with the quotes. Yep. Here we go.
You can see the big picture. I get it. Right? And then another mountain's put in front of you.
Totally.
Or you have to fall down the hill and then you're like, you drop down and you're like, oh no, I'm falling. Everything's like the money, the income is going backwards. We're losing it all. But think about a roller coaster. You climb up.
Are we on a roller coaster or are we on a mountain? Like, I don't understand. Like, this, I would fail this class. If this was a class where you had to, like, listen and take notes, like, I'm done. I'm cooked. I can't follow it worth a flippity flop.
I am interested in what I think is her saying the quiet part out loud there.
What do you think?
The income is going down. We're losing it all.
Oh, yep. You got it. Yep. I guess you don't have to worry as much as other people because the CEO put a bunch of people under you, so you got to hit rank 10. So,
and that is why Prove It has achieved rank and current rank. She's not going to be able to maintain it.
Yep, I agree. There's no way.
No.
Anticipation of being at the top and what happened. You're like, oh man, I'm climbing, I'm getting to the top, and it's slow and it creeps, and then you're at the top, and that gut feeling is just like, it's like you just start free falling. So why not shift it and know that when we're being challenged that we can be excited about it, because we're about to learn new skills and we're going to have to adapt and be challenged emotionally, and it's going to freaking suck. That free fall was grief. That free fall was losing my best friend. It freaking sucked. I didn't ask you if you cuss on your podcast, but
oh yeah, no, it's sweet.
I know. I'm like, I didn't ask for sure. Like, it fucking sucks. Okay, it does. It sucks really, really bad. And this was the first time in the process of the journey that I just allowed, because words matter and they're super important. And I let myself feel it all. And I let myself say when it sucks, especially to those of you who follow me and watch me, especially to those of you who love Jesse Lee so dearly and like deeply, you know, even without knowing her, your grief is valid. Your feelings are valid.
The question?
I should have written it down on the screen so we could have tracked what she wasn't answering.
That'd have been great. We were not, we were prepared, but we were not prepared.
I wasn't prepared for the stream of conscious, like, murk that we are in right now. Because I could not, like, if you put one of those, like, multiple choice tests in front of me, like, answer this. When Courtney said this, what was she referring to? I would have failed. I'm going to fail it. Because, like, I don't know.
Well, in your defense, Courtney herself would fail it. So, next question, so. I don't know.
Oh my God.
The journey is a process. Just fall in love with it and own every ounce of that roller coaster of life and climbing those mountains and free falling, because it's so beautiful. And knowing, like, my best friend, guys, like, I was surrounded by the person, the woman who said, I know stage 4 metastatic colon cancer wasn't great. Maybe it's not great, but maybe it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know?
What? Insert cursey word. What?
Don't like that.
Oh my God. I don't even. What? I think live chat is speechless as well. And looks like
live
everyone
chat
is raging.
Is filling in our commentary because DeeCee and I are both stunned. Like, I can't believe she just said that.
Wow. Wow.
You know, like, maybe it's teaching me things and allowing me to love deeper and allow people to love me deeper. And, you know, losing my best friend, I'm way more present physically. Like, I lost her physically. I haven't lost her spirit connection to me, her energy. I still feel her. I still tap into that. And so, you know, it really is all about the journey, the process of becoming and never fully feeling. Like, celebrate being at the top of the mountain. Take it in, look around, snap some photos, experience it, dance, and feel the joy in it. And do the same thing on the way back down and the way climbing the next one too.
I think the Matrix glitched. Okay. All right, there's that.
Can we rewind it? Yeah, sure. We can go back. I'm gonna go back to minute 31. We're so slowly getting through this. 31. Let's see.
Especially to those of you who follow me and watch me. Especially to those of you who love Jesse Lee so dearly and like deeply. You know, even without knowing her, your grief is valid. Your feelings are valid. The journey is a process. Just fall in love with it and own every ounce of that roller coaster of life and climbing those mountains and free falling, because it's so beautiful. And knowing, like, my best friend, guys, like, I was surrounded by the person, the woman who said, I know stage 4 metastatic colon cancer wasn't great. Maybe it's not great, but maybe it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know, like, maybe it's teaching me things and allow
I'm sorry. Stage 4 metastatic colon cancer is the best thing that ever happened to Jesse Lee. The very thing that killed her?
Why would your best friend say that? Like, why would you? I don't.
I mean, okay, let's unpack this for a second, because maybe Jesse Lee did say that at the beginning of the diagnosis.
Sure.
Perhaps. But what is the point in bringing this up? Every time she is asked a question, she comes back to talking about Jesse Lee, my best friend, and maybe it's the grief. I don't know, but it feels uncomfortable because it feels very much like part of her brand. Because while Jesse Lee was alive, I feel like she would do these live streams where she's packing trials and stuff with Jesse Lee, hoping to get that little handout of people that Jesse Lee recruited, and she would put under Courtney, allegedly. So what's the point now? To try and tap into the people that follow Jesse Lee by saying Jesse Lee, Jesse Lee, Jesse Lee every 5 seconds? I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think it's probably a complicated grouping of things, because it's, in my opinion, an immaturity in dealing with immaturity in her inability to deal with grief, lacking healthy ways to cope, that your mind starts filling in reasons for things, and then you are surrounded by people who were led by I say high control group leader Jesse Lee. She was the reason, like, she was the driving force behind so many things, and now that she's gone, there are so many gaps that it's wild, and it is still wrong, in my opinion, to say getting cancer was Jesse Lee to say it too, but to continue the narrative that getting cancer was a good thing. I'll tell you this, content warning, cancer and death. I know not everyone has good in-laws or good people in their life. My mother-in-law was an incredible person, and she passed away from brain cancer. And we didn't learn anything from that other than we spent as much time as we could with her while she was still here, and we would have given anything to have her still be here with us. And there's the one thing that I guess we learned from his family is important, but we already knew family was important before that. And we wouldn't have said, man, now we finally know that family's important. No, we'd rather have her still with us. Like, this whole idea that you have to accept really traumatic things. I say traumatic things, events in your life that are not in your control, that you have to have those to really get to the next level, I think is some kind of logical fallacy. I don't know which one it is,
Yes.
but it seems inappropriate to say you better accept these really bad things that have happened to you because you have to do that to climb the success, to level up.
Which is the same thing that we watched Kelsey Ray say after Jesse Lee's passing.
Yeah.
I think she had to pass away. It was something like this. She had to pass away so that we could level up. No, what a slap in the face to Jesse Lee's family. What a slap in the face, specifically what Courtney is saying here, just by repeating, if that is something that Jesse Lee said, that's a slap in the face to people that are grieving the loss of another human being.
Yeah. It is. It's just, and we both have had critical things to say about Jesse Lee, and so have many people in the anti-MLM movement. And we're all saying, this is really inappropriate of them to try to use her death as some type of leveling up motivation or good thing that happened. No, it was devastating and traumatic and awful. One, the way that she passed, and for her family and friends who loved her, losing her. And it's okay for that to just be what it is.
Yeah.
All right, man. All right, let's go.
Allowing me to love deeper and allow people to love me deeper. And, you know, losing my best friend, I'm way more present physically. Like, I lost her physically. I haven't lost her spirit connection to me, her energy. I still feel her. I still tap into that. And so, you know, it really is all about the journey, the process of becoming, and never fully feeling. Oh, like, celebrate being at the top of the mountain. Take it in,
I'm on the wrong screen.
look around, snap some photos, experience it, dance.
I didn't even notice. I was just listening.
I think I was enjoying the break from the montage behind Courtney.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hermit. I did it again. I'm new here.
Good looking out, Hermit.
Oh, thanks so much.
And feel the joy in it. And do the same thing on the way back down and the way climbing the next one, too.
I love that because, you know, again, there's so many things, but I love this so much because...
This is an interesting comment from Skyward. It feels like she's being treated like a story character, the wise mentor who dies so the hero can learn a lesson and grow on their journey. A secondary character to Courtney's story.
Wow.
I never thought about it like that. But yes.
It's a very good point.
Yep.
Oftentimes with clients too, I think society kind of positions us in a sense to be disappointed because there's so much emphasis on the wins, the ups, right?
Yeah.
So the peaks.
Especially with masculine energy. It's like, go, go, go. You got to win. You got to be at the top. You got to, and I would ask myself, do I have to find something to be number one in? Do I have to find something to push to be number one in? And it's like, part of the journey for me was really like falling in love with, I'm really fucking good at being number two and supporting someone who's at the top and loving them. And then,
wait.
Yeah.
That makes no sense considering she says that she is Jesse Lee's only best friend with her entire chest. Yep. So if she was asking herself if she had to find something to be number one in her mind, wouldn't that be her role as Jesse Lee's best friend, considering how she's handled everything? Let me just say it that way. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah. Interesting and potentially really problematic. Oh my God.
No, I love that. And it's, you know, it's the valleys that have the peaks that much more beautiful. Right? So there's no one without the other. And I think, you know, even with healing work and all, there's this idea of it being like continuous. And it's not like that. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's all around. So I love that you spotlight that. But the other thing I want to just point out before I move to the next question is this idea of falling in love with becoming. And I think that's so powerful because it's totally about being okay with where you are and what's to come, right? Versus a not enough narrative or not there yet or when I finally arrive. So I love that. And everybody who's listening, I don't want you to miss that particular piece. This idea of becoming has you in one particular spot and you're not quite in the next spot yet. But Courtney's shining the light on loving that space because of what's involved in the journey, you know, in the development of it all. That's big.
And I think with the word becoming, we can potentially get caught up in that becoming is actually present. It's a present word. It's present tense. And so it's really the power of presence that is the most important piece of the journey for me is just tapping into what is now.
You're tapping into what is now when on your live streams, you're completely disconnected from your kids in a meaningful way, or kind of the suitcase incident on the escalator, or driving and going live at the same time with your kids in the back seat, or doing stories and your kid being unbuckled. That's living in the present. Maybe our definitions are very different. It sounds like it. It sounds like our definitions are on the opposite side of the planet, because I don't know. I don't really understand then what she means by being present. I don't get it.
Well, she's talking about being present, but didn't she just say a little while ago how on the Disney trip with her kids, and how she was on the trip and she was like, man, the experience is almost over and you got to be focusing on the next thing. So are we focusing on the next thing, or are we focusing on the present? Because you're bringing up two conflicting
points,
ideas here.
Yeah, and that's a really good example of the double speak that we hear in a lot of her live streams, if not all of her live streams. Oh my God.
And really a really cool experience at that retreat, and part of being in your feminine energy is slowing down, being present.
Yeah.
And embracing the things that you're feeling, processing those, because you can't run from them or hide from them by doing all of these different and all of these things, right? And then you're like, look at yourself, love yourself for who you are right now, love how you're showing up in the world, and know that, you know what, if I am feeling initiations or challenges or, whatever word we can place on it, which I really feel like replacing that word challenge and obstacle and all of those things, or like with the word initiation, because it's just a process to becoming. You're being initiated into the next layer of who your 1% better really truly is. And it never stops. It continues.
Courtney, you should have kept this live up so you can go back and listen to the I don't even know what to call it. I feel like she is speaking in Brian Underwood quotes.
Yeah.
The 1% better thing gets me every time. What happens on day 101?
Yep.
Do you start over?
Yep. And even if you're always taking a less percentage of the entirety of what you could do better, that means that there's a less and less and less and less amount that you have to do, if I'm understanding the math correctly, if you're doing that 1% better every day. You know what I mean? Like, so it would be like a less and less, because you're always taking 1% of the total whatever of what you could be, and so that becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't know. I don't understand I don't understand a lot of the phrases that Brian Underwood says. Like, I'm just
Brian doesn't either. Don't worry. He heard it from somewhere and decided to say it.
Oh my God.
I think.
Yep. So let me ask you this, Aaron. We've got about half of the video left. And do you want to do a part 2, or what would you prefer?
Live chat, how are y'all feeling?
Yeah.
Because I know that this is a long live streams already.
I mean, I've already practiced for a 12-hour stream, but I know other people have stuff to do. So like I'm trying to be self-aware. I'm trying to be emotionally intelligent and realize the limitations that of the other people in the live chat.
Yeah. Charlene says part 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a part 2, because we've been live 3 hours now. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, which is great.
Yeah,
we've been having good we've been having good conversations. We're gonna do a part 2, and let me give y'all. I know, like, again, I recognize kind of the struggle sometimes of the mobile streams, but I'm gonna give you a couple of numbers about people that are reached with this information about MLM scanners. On my video, I've got 17,700 views on this stream so far.
On this stream?
On this stream. So I'm saying that the potential to use this as a tool is really great. And so I think, just want to say we appreciate y'all being flexible. I don't say that to be like, oh yeah, numbers. It's about reaching people who don't know what multi-level marketing is, who don't know what these scammers are doing, and being able to say, look, if you see this out in the wild, you can avoid it because there's twisty stuff going on. So
correct.
I want to say that to like encourage the live chat, appreciate gratitude, like genuine gratitude that like we're exposing We're exposing people to the twistiness of multi-level marketing. And I appreciate that. So
yeah, and thanks for being patient with us, you guys, because it's a different format. I know DeeCee and I have done like the same kind of format for a while, and change is not always welcomed. But I think in this case, it's important because we are reaching people.
Yeah, and I know it's harder too
that haven't seen this type of content.
For some neurodivergent people, like change is hard. Like, if I could do nothing different for the rest of my life, like that'd be the best. But I just wanted to like show y'all some of the back end information of, and I'll just do I just wanted to encourage y'all, if it's about anti-MLM movement, if it's about activism, if it's about helping others, y'all are helping do that. Cause like this is a screenshot that I just took from my views for this video. We've got 17,000.
How do you already have that up already?
You can go to your back end in your analytics on your YouTube. So you can see and you can see like active live views of people seeing that. So that shout out to y'all. So part 2, when would you like to do part 2, Aaron?
You want to do it tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm down.
Or we can do it Friday.
You want live chat? Let us know. Would you like to do it tomorrow, or would you like to do Friday? Y'all can drop. Let's see. Just let us know tomorrow or Friday. Just let us know one word in the chat.
Thursday or Friday.
What is my favorite animal? Probably my dog, who's an Alaskan Kleekai. He's like a small husky. But if I didn't have to choose my dog, gosh, it's hard to pick. I don't know. Probably an elephant. I don't know. Or a platypus. It's difficult. Tomorrow?
That's very specific.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tomorrows.
Okay. Let's do tomorrow.
Okay.
And yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being civil and respectful and having really great commentary and insight. I know you can spend a lot of emotional energy like listening to this and also so you can learn and help others. So we appreciate it. And thank you to the mods, the Hammers of Thor. Y'all are incredible.
We appreciate y'all.
We appreciate y'all. There's a big group of people scrolling through the chat, and hello to the new people. We're glad you're here. So
yep. And did you also notate where we're at in the video? I'm sure you already did.
I did not. I'm gonna take a screenshot because I'm so bad at this. I'm like, Lushy, where were we at? And she's like, it's not my stream. I don't know. So we're good. I have a screenshot. Good. We got that info and we're ready to roll for tomorrow. So
and we'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Right.
Don't join an MLM.
Right. Yep. Do not. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.